Hello, hello, hello.
What up? How you feeling?
I am exhausted, but I'm happy, of course, to be back in the club with the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very excited about that. Y'all know being here, which I was gonna say Wednesday is my favorite day of the week because of fan club, but we've been switching things up.
Yeah.
It's a busy, busy month. So we are here on a special night on Thursday. So we're excited to get things going. It's one of my favorite days in the whole wide world. 316 day. So we got a lot of stuff going on. We got a lot of stuff going on.
Fact.
So first in the TWG universe, I like that. I think I'm gonna try to make that stick. The TWG.
I like it. Hashtag it and all that.
Yes, yes. But we are still working on our Carmella series. We're also doing a best of feuds in the women's division, the women's evolution. So we'll post about that so we can get everybody's feedback. Everybody gonna have their opinions. But me and Krista B, we always are here for it. So look out for that. We also have Sound Off is back tomorrow with Krista and CRISPA CONTRERAS on Twitch. So make sure you tune in for that. I believe it's at 3. And that's just always a good time. We got new Patreon content coming. So please make sure you go support that. It's only $1 a month. You get weekly exclusive content. Krista B has a lot of new shows on there as well. So please go check that out. And if you don't know, we have new merch. We have a collaboration with For Your Wear for Women's History Month, and you can pick your own for favorite women's wrestlers who you think is on your women's Mount Rushmore. You can put it on a t-shirt. So make sure you go check that out. It's only for the month of March, so don't miss out. I chose the 4 horsewomen because I'm not choosing 4 women that paved the way in wrestling. That's just impossible. So go check those out. Blue had his choices, the owner of For Your Wear and a part of the TWG family. And Krista B has her 4. So go check those out if you haven't already. On our new website, of course, you can find other goodies on nosewrestlinggirls.com. Yeah, that's literally everything. Everything is right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Very nice. Very nice.
I love the site. I love everything we have. Look at that. Look at that cute girl. Speaking of birthdays, the next Thirsty Thursday is April 6th. And it's in I'm going to say it's Christina's Appreciation Day because her birthday is 4/20. But that's when we're going to be able to have Thirsty Thursday. It's post-mania. So, those are always lit because we chop it up about everything that's going on. And to think, Mania is what? Less than 20 days now?
Whoa. Right? It's less than 20 days?
Yes, I believe so.
What's that Randy Orton GIF like?
16 days.
Woo, 2 weeks?
It used to feel forever when we were kids.
It did.
It was like Christmas. It felt like forever.
It definitely did. So yeah, we're excited about that. To think about last year, Austin was the star of the show for the most part, and we actually are having fan club on 316 day. Let me see y'all stuff.
Hey, this is mine. He was the star of WrestleMania 38.
So we got the official Dallas 316 shirts.
Yeah, you got to slide over the mic. The mic in the way. We couldn't see the whole thing.
Oh, my bad. Hold on a sec. I'm not used to it zooming in and stuff like that. So we got the Dallas 16 repping, If you know, because you couldn't really get this on shop. It was like you had to be there to get this shirt.
Yeah, that's why I was glad I got a Brooklyn 316 one when I was in when I was at the show a couple months ago. And I was like, I have to have a Brooklyn 316 shirt. Like, how can I not? But yeah, that's when we have our Thirsty Thursday, April 6th. So make sure you're there. Hi, Rikarsha. Hey,
so deadass Christina's birthday is on 4/20.
100%.
Oh shit! What are the odds? So we be smoking that Christina back.
So yeah, make sure you.
That was a bad thing. You smoking a pack of somebody.
Yeah, but when it's 4/20, everyone's blazing up. So this is like the one time it's not a bad thing.
All right.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm excited for that.
I don't partake in that anymore. I'm just saying for those who do blaze up.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss you in LA, Justin. It's not
I
gonna
know,
feel right without you.
The funds ain't funding, and let's be honest, like originally I had said like SummerSlam was the one I wanted to go to because that's the only one as an adult I haven't gone to of the big four. But then once they announced Backlash in Puerto Rico, that's like, yeah, fuck SummerSlam. I kind of want to go there, and I got to find a way to get there. So that's the one where it's like, LA, I'm not gonna miss it. Yeah, and especially like thinking of the logistics of LA, it's like, so this is gonna be New York, but worse because you have to drive in LA versus New York. You had the luxury of so much public transportation, trains, buses, all that stuff, where LA is like, nah, you need a car to drive all the way out to Inglewood for both nights of Mania. Then you got to figure out how you're gonna get back downtown, and you're doing that in LA traffic, which is arguably one of the
it's gonna be like about the memory, but you'll be holding it down for us. Hopefully, are you gonna go to Legends? You think?
I'm probably gonna pop up to New York because I heard Legends is doing WrestleMania. So it's like, all right, if I don't get to be LA, then let me do the second best thing, which is drive up to New York and experience Legends for a big four pay-per-view.
Yeah. Honestly, I always say if you can't be at the show, Legends with Jobber Tears is the second best thing, 100%. So we will take a break and we'll get into this jam-packed show.
Yes, sir.
I'm fucked up, homie, you fucked up, but if God got us, then we gon' be alright.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Krista B, one half of those wrestling girls, and we hope that you're enjoying this current episode that we have for you. You know I had to come in here and interject and plug ourselves real quick. We want to tell you about our merch exclusively on foryourwear.com. That's right, For Your Wear has all of those wrestling girls merch that you want and need, not only for yourself, but for your friends, your family, and your loved ones. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies, we have tank tops. So please go over to foryourwear.com to make sure you get those exclusive merch, those exclusive deals, and tell them that TWG sent you.
Love that old music. Classic.
That music got me through so many workouts.
I love hearing stuff like that.
Really interesting.
So while we're waiting for the rest of the crew, we do have a special guest, our very own.
Now that she done celebrated her birthday for 40 days and 40 nights, she's finally here.
Listen. I was ready to crash yesterday, and I'm just like, wait a minute, no notification. I came home early because I didn't want to be in the car. Although, when I'm in the car now, it's still daylight outside. So, new gift fees coming soon, but no. Thank you for letting me be here. And Justin, it's Pisces season. I celebrate all Pisces season. Don't start with me, okay? Don't start with me.
Is it still Pisces? Yeah,
someone's got to do it.
March 20th is the last day of Pisces season. And I just want to say thank y'all for making my birthday on Thursday lit. It really kicked off the litness that happened that night. Thank you, P, for coming out to Brooklyn the night before. Well, of course it was the night before, but we didn't leave till earlier Thursday. So I had 2 events in one day.
I love it.
Shout out to early birthday to your mom. Yeah, I'm tired. Next year, I'm just going away. Like, it's a solo trip. It's a solo trip. I'm out because I'm tired. Planning is trash. And, I just want to have fun and relax. That's it. But yeah, I'm here. I'm here today. Oh, and Pete, look what I found after 84 years of trying to look for this damn shirt.
Oh, wow. Love. Oh my God. I feel like I haven't seen that shirt in years.
Girl, the last time I remember seeing this shirt was on 316 Day 2 years ago when I'm sitting on my couch and I took the picture with the middle finger, happy 316 Day. and then it grew legs and walked away. Found it 2 days ago.
Yay.
So came back home.
It came back home. It was right for me to wear this shirt.
I love it for today. Like that's how it was supposed to happen.
It was supposed to happen that way. So I'm like, P's gonna get a kick out of this one.
Oh, because you definitely was looking for that shirt for like
mad long.
And I'm like, you have a Stone Cold shirt? Because
I have a few Stone Cold shirts. I have
so I was like, wait.
A New York 316 shirt. I have a Stone Cold Rattlesnake trucker hat that's in my closet. I have a few Stone Cold stuff. I've been trying to give it to my brother, but it just never tends to leave my house. So I have it.
I love it. So I want to get into some of the things that's been going on outside the ring. I love when our wrestling is in the mainstream. So Zelina Vega was at the John Wick premiere. Chapter 4.
Lucky ass.
But I love seeing this. I love seeing it. I love
Damn. Hey, yo, Alistair, respectfully looking. I ain't trying to get kicked in my face. Respectfully looking, my guy.
She looks amazing.
Great. And
I just want to play her in Mortal Kombat.
Oh man, yo.
I'll probably lose. Because the amount of time she puts into that game, I just want to play once. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. Speaking of games,
I've
been loving everybody. I've been like, look at the fan. That is the cutest thing, yo. Honestly, that's probably the best deluxe edition. Like
that really encompasses us like perfectly.
I would agree, but that's because you didn't post mine up there. But it's okay. It's posted on Twitter. It's okay. It's okay.
It's the fan club.
You're right. You're right. So I'm not gonna be upset. I actually do love this cover, to be honest. I love it. I need one for sound off. So please and thank you. Because this is really dope. And the fact that everybody's personality is literally sticking out in this, and it goes well with the gold and dope. We
also got the black memo in that photo.
I forgot about that.
We did not plan that part.
But I like everybody's cover was dope. I love this time of year. Everybody makes one. But I know, did y'all get it? Y'all got the game yet?
Yes, sir.
I didn't get it yet. I don't even have a gaming system. I'm trying to make them get it so we can play the game at work. As I was telling Brian yesterday, we have the Black Panther Wakanda Forever Edition Xbox at my job. So I'm trying to get the 2K23 WWE game to play. So, I don't have to sit here and buy a whole gaming system to play the game.
No, it's this one is really good. Last year, so I'm pretty sure y'all heard the debacle that was 2K20. So they took a couple years off, and last year was really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm really excited. Y'all think y'all seen that? Wait till I get like some time. I'm gonna create the TW Collision team, and we're gonna be on the game. So I'm really excited to do that.
Amazing.
Yeah. Shout out to yesterday. I was on Twitter, and Jay Bougie said, "Look, somebody create me, and I'll give you a free ticket and a shirt to my next show." So I thought that was hilarious. But it's a great game. It's fun to play. Somehow my co-host Ben worked himself into a shoot with the world champion of 2K, Cornell.
Oh.
Well, the whole thing was we were supposed to we put out the open challenge, and out of all people, he wasn't supposed to respond, but now he got
like the best 2K player of life.
I mean, you saw the belt at the Royal Rumble. He's legit the world champion.
Yeah, he really is. He's like, "You want to hold it?" I was like, "Yes." Thank you very much. It was dope. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, because the other 2K, that shit trended for so long because it was just that bad. So that was really smart on their part to take a couple years off to play it. And then we were able to, talk about the rankings and shit. So now the ratings. So yeah, I've heard good things. I'm not a gamer, but I'm glad that there's another Wrestling 2K out there again. You're gonna get
put
into
it on my list for the summer.
Oh, dope. I want to do like the it's career mode still, right?
Yeah, well, they call it My Rise. So they got two different versions. They got the GM mode, which is the funny one because it's last year you could put you had to build the matches and everything, and that part was like different compared to the way it used to be, but it was a lot of fun. But the career mode is where you take a superstar and you build them up, and then you can also they have another one called My Universe. So they made a lot of improvements instead of the same old cookie cutter game.
And
but I did put Yokozuna in the bloodline.
The GMO is the one that when you go to Up Up Down Down, that's the one that Woods and Tyler Breeze always play every week. Like that's GMO.
That's what I make it look fun. I was about to say, Brian, I did see your Yokozuna and Roman and Jay was like the head of the bloodline, and Roman and Yoko was in the back, and I'm just
I think I selected them in the wrong order because I know Roman got the pin in that match, but I think when I picked them, I selected them in the wrong order. But because Ben was like, "Yo, see what happens? We want to see Yoko throwing up the ones." And what's crazy is Solo's not on the bloodline on there, which I don't know why, but Sammy has the Sammy Uso shirt. So I was impressed on how fast they updated because usually if 2K comes out in March, the cutoff is Survivor Series. So for them to have Sammy already out, now he still got the old music, which is probably like legal reasons, but I was impressed how fast they had it updated.
That's dope. I was really just gonna say to see Yoko in that stance with like his family, like imagine where he would have been now. Like we know he would have been older now, but at the same time, like to see him like at least try to come back and be a part of that. Him and I was thinking Umaga too, like that whole Samoan dynasty thing, it reaches for years, like it's way beyond us. So to see that in a video game, it was like, oh my God, what if this was like happening in real life? So that was dope. That was dope, Brian.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. We're gonna get into all of that stuff because it's a lot happening. But I do want to talk about some of the recent news that has gone viral, and that is no more Bellas. They have officially parted ways with the WWE. Nikki and Brie are now being referred to as Nikki and Brie Garcia, which is their maiden names. No more Bella Twins branding.
Hey, Latina gang.
Yeah. So of course, for us, that is like, you know, I literally, I don't know who texted to me like, you heard about the Bellas? And I was like, oh God, what? And I was like, oh my God. They posted it 12 minutes. I was like, I gotta get this out. I gotta get people's thoughts. Because when they posted, you know, basically reintroducing themselves to the world, because they've been the Bella Twins for 17 years. Like they joined WWE as babies.
It's been that long?
Well, has it really been that long?
Well, they were referring to themselves as the Bellas in their other ventures as models and stuff like that.
Yeah, but since the beginning,
they've been branded as the Bella Twins, you know, for a long time. So this is really a new chapter in their lives, which I'm very excited for. You know, you go through the emotions. At first you're like shocked. You're just like, oh my God, what does this mean? And then, you know, of course, I'm a WWE girl. I want to see my Hall of Famers in WWE. You know, I love when that music hits. And then you think about it, especially with Mercedes and Trinity moving on. And it's just like, you know what? I'm excited for this new chapter in their lives. They have a Sirius XM show. They have another reality show coming out where twins compete. Like they try to find love. It's called Twin Love. And I'm like, okay, well, there's no one.
Wait. Find love. Ain't one married and isn't the both of them married?
They're hosting a show about twins.
I'm about to say, like, yo.
Justin was about to be like, what in the storyline is
you're like,
what the hell did I just miss that Brian and was it Artem got kicked to the curb? Like, where was that news?
But I do have a question for y'all.
Shout out to Artem.
Sure, y'all have seen all the discourse. So I don't even want to get into it. But they were backstage at the AEW, which is not the wildest thing. Daniel Bryan is there. Britt Baker posted them and said, basically no woman in wrestling today can't say they weren't influenced by the Bellas, something to that effect. Do you see Nikki and Brie going to AEW? Or do you think they're done with wrestling and want to kind of move on to entertainment?
Brian, you want to go first?
I do not. So I could see them making an appearance. I could see them stepping up, maybe a one-off. I just don't trust AEW's booking. And what's the saying? They wouldn't know what to do with the Bella twins or the 100%. Garcia twins. You know, the same thing that Vince McMahon said about WCW and Bret Hart. I mean, you have Saraya, who was one of the biggest stars in women's wrestling history, and this is how you treat her. So they don't know what to do with the Bella twins, or I'm so sorry, the Garcia twins. They wouldn't know. So I wouldn't see them. And plus, I don't know them, right? But considering all their other ventures, it's the same argument that we had about Mercedes and Impact, right? They not on the Garcia twins level. And I know a lot of people had a lot to say about them. I don't agree a lot with Britt Baker. You know, she's from Pittsburgh. I'm from Baltimore. If you know, you know. But she was dead on right there. There's all the women in one way, shape, or form, including the 4 horsewomen, have been inspired or influenced by the Bella twins.
I agree. What you think, Justin?
So for me, I look at it as like a couple things. Number one, unless we have like some modern medicine miracles, did someone fix Nikki's neck, or is she still like, yo, you're one bump away from being paralyzed forever?
It's honestly more about her head injury than her neck right now.
Mm-hmm.
So she definitely has to be careful with bumps. And I don't think any other place but WWE would take care of her in the ring. I don't think AEW got that.
Yeah, and we've been on multiple fan clubs where we highlighted like AEW, where they can be not crisp with their stuff in ring, especially with the women's division. And then speaking of the women's division in AEW, I feel like while the Garcias will add like name and star power to that division, I feel like where AEW really needs to do is invest in their current talent and especially their youth movement, because then if you bring in the Garcias, it's going to feel like what WWE was doing with like the male wrestlers, where you were just bringing in Brock Lesnar and Goldberg and all these people from like other companies from like yesteryear, but it's coming at the expense of your current talent. You're not developing the next Goldberg. You're not developing the next Stone Cold. You're not developing the next Rock, because you could just bring those guys back. And then for AEW to kind of do the same thing with the women's division, it's like, what does that mean for Jade Cargill, who we've been clamoring, like, do something with Jade Cargill? What does that mean for Jamie Hayter, who's your current champion? What does that mean for Britt Baker? What does that mean for your other women's talent that's homegrown, but you're not really using them? And especially when you add like Soraya's in the mix, Toni Storm's in the mix, Ruby Soho's in the mix, and then you get the Garcias, and it's gonna be like you just keep taking in WWE women and you're pushing your own. It's like Toy Story, where it's like, you know, Buzz Lightyear comes in and all of a sudden we're pushing Woody to the side, and that's not where AEW needs to go.
Yeah, I agree. Andre said they may have said they're not going to AEW. Yeah, there's a part of me that feels like
they say that now, but this is also wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like, until you don't see him on your TV, never say never.
Right. I agree. I do also feel like they are focused on their, you know, TV appearances and all that, you know, kind of stuff. I think they definitely want to move on to more Hollywood stuff that they've already been doing. So, I mean, like everyone else, I'm gonna be following them. I'm excited to see, you know, what this next chapter brings. Shout out to everyone in the comments.
Can I just interject real fast?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what you thinking, Krista?
I agree with all you guys. I don't think that we need to see the Bellas in the ring anymore. Like, they came and proved what they needed to prove. They paved the way for people who needed it. They need to pave the way for. They're Hall of Famers. And honestly, after that, I want to call it Bella pipe bomb, I guess, that they did on IG. Like, we don't need to see them in the ring. If one business is this, if one business can be called out for doing something like that, what makes it different from another business from doing something like that, being called out, you know? So I don't think that they would come to the ring. Like P, like you said, I feel like they're gonna go focus on their brands, focusing on their business, their moms. We don't know if Nikki want to have another child. Artem, like she's technically a newlywed. Bree's a mom of 2. They have their wine. It's Bella wine. Wait, so that means they changing the name of their wine?
Well, they don't do Bella Radici no more. They do I forgot the name of the other one. Something Bonita. Something but Bella Bonita.
Bonita. Okay.
Bonita. Yeah. So they probably
gonna be Birdie B though, right? Because that's after the cow.
Birdie B is not a part of WWE, so it's definitely
right. I'm just saying, like they gotta keep that because
yeah, definitely
the logo slick.
Definitely named after.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Birdie B.
I brought it up on Worldwide yesterday, and Ben was like, "Wait, why didn't you wear your Birdie B sweater?" I was like, "See, I kind of wore it in rotation, so it's kind of like I'll wear it next week."
Yeah, but I don't think that they're going to. I think you can never say never in wrestling, right? That's like one of the golden rules. You never say never in wrestling. Right. Never say you really fully retired, because Nikki and Brie both retired and they came back. You know,
and then there's always the swerve, like Justin said. Like it's never say never. It can only be about the next thing they pop up on another fucking pay-per-view.
But I don't think they will fit like a glove either in other promotions.
That's the thing.
Of the fact, like, we already know how careless AEW can. If you really look at the roster, half of those people who came from WWE were injured and now they're in AEW. And it's like, what are you doing to protect them in the ring? And then watching, I'm not going to go overboard, but like watching the match between Ruby Soho and I think Paige or whoever, like you can just tell like they try not to make it as seamless because they know of their lingering injuries. So you can see like the skips and the stops and the missteps or whatever. And then the reaction afterwards is just like, what? Like it's like you gotta be trained to watch like the mess ups. So for the Bellas to go, and especially with Nikki having a head and neck injury, we don't know what would have happened or what could happen. And then they don't fit in New Japan. Nikki, no shade, no tea. I don't ever want to see Nikki step foot in New Japan. And then you have WOW, you have Impact. Like, it's not for everybody. So they did what they had to do. They did what they had to do. They can move on and, you know, still be boss bitches in the words of P. Right. And you know, we still going to support.
They can always they can always make appearances and stuff like that. Like there's always, you know, there's always a place, you know, to come back to WWE. Because your fans are always going to be there, and if that Bella music ever does hit, it's gonna pop.
Tears is coming on my tears.
So you know, I love those moments. So I always be like, well, you know, we still got that potential moment one day.
Right. I feel like we do. Sidebar: I was just at a career day earlier today, and the way their eyes lit up when I mentioned we got some new followers on Spotify because of me today. I was talking about wrestling girls and. They was like, did you meet any wrestlers? So of course I was like, yeah, I've met Bianca Belair. Their eyes lit up. I was like, oh my gosh. Then they was like, have you ever met the Bella twins? And I said, I was like, we didn't meet them, but we were like,
not yet.
And the girl was like, I like them. I watch their shows. I know who they are. I said, well, they just changed their name to the Garcia twins. She was just like, yes, I just heard about that. And I'm like, no, never know.
Yeah, and like, everybody at my job, they knew about. Like, because I got hype and it was just like, and they recognized the name because they was like, oh, I used to watch that show, or oh, I know them, or you know, such and such. So I want to bring on the rest of the crew. Hey, girl. Hey, Seindole. Late as usual.
Wow. Wow.
Damn. Blah 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 blah.
Crazy.
Hey, girl.
Finish up.
I would comment, but I just bought my own Drake tickets. So in the words of my queen Beyonce, so I'm going to both Drake and Beyonce this summer. So you can't break my soul. So I'm gonna sit here. Yeah, I have money.
Like, you got money because baby.
No, and you know what's funny? I'm not even going to New York. We're making a little road trip because these tickets.
Well, I heard these.
You paid them crazy service fees.
Listen.
Yo,
listen.
You like
what's the Aubrey?
My friend hit me up and was just like, "Hey, your job got tickets?" Because I guess you're promoting it, and she sent me what it looked like in the 121 sections where we normally sit up for wrestling. Let me just say, somebody's gonna live stream this concert on TikTok for me, and that's how I'm gonna be there because
it might be me.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Because these tickets are ridiculously high. I don't know.
But you know what's crazy? I literally was gonna be like, all right, New York's gonna be high, so we can crap that out. Let's go to DC. DC is worse.
DC
Why?
is sold out.
Don't
DC
come.
DC is high.
Because people
DC
rarely come here. So when they come, it's like, yeah, it's a high commodity ticket plus DC is district. So it's separate rules compared to Maryland and Virginia. DC is on the shit. So, and then because it's not a state and because, you know, acts rarely come through here, when they come here, that shit sells. Like even the Beyonce stuff is like, wait, but that means I got to go to FedEx Field. No. Sorry, Beyonce. No.
That is the worst stadium. I promise you that. I promise you.
FedEx Field is hands down the worst stadium.
Y'all didn't see the video
all of the United States. This is why I continually clamor and say, do not bring WrestleMania to DC because A, we cannot handle that type of traffic. B, y'all don't like bringing pay-per-views here anyway. And C, FedEx Field is the fucking worst.
The way that stadium, people fell over.
It's not even close.
The barricade. Yeah,
people are falling over. You've had rain issues.
And they fell over.
Yes. You got people trying to jack shit in the parking lot while you guys are inside because you forget that the stadium is in PG County. Like, no, we are not equipped for that shit. Go to Baltimore or elsewhere.
Put it in Baltimore. Bring the other stuff. You know, you can bring it all together.
Yeah.
You just want people to come to Baltimore, Brian. It's okay.
If I fell,
our stadium nice.
I know your stadium's nice. Doesn't mean everybody want to come to Baltimore, but that's the difference.
Yes, you know, because DC's got different rules. That's why things are more expensive. It's like Drake concert because like even when I went to Bad Bunny here, that shit went in like minutes.
It was a FedEx.
Karaoke.
I know. I was like, oh, but
he's so cute. He's so cute. I love him.
The way he sang Ariana Grande, the way that people who act like they don't listen to her sing it, I was like, he's too cute. I can't be mad at him about Whole Girl. I was like, he cute.
We don't know. Like, it's not confirmed yet, but I'll give you out a T.
So to answer Brian's question, this was the concert before the last one because he dropped the last album. Then when he dropped this new album, Un Verano Sin Ti, he went back on tour and started doing the stadium tour. So he did Capital One Arena and was doing those venues. And then when he dropped his latest album, then he went back on tour and started doing the baseball stadiums and football stadiums. So that's where we went to Yankee Stadium for that one. And that's how I feel Seindole's paying because them Bad Bunny to get that seats was not fucking cheap. That was, let's just say I spent on 2 tickets 4 figures.
That's insane.
You what?
Me. Social media would have been my friend. I would have projected it and been like, hey.
Yeah. If there's one concert though that is like where you would be like, it's like a Bad Bunny concert.
But here's the thing with Drake. The reason why I was like, let me do part 2.
It was dope.
The only reason why I'm like, all right, I'm looking at the setup, and when we went to his tour with Future, Peter and I, our seats, like you would think we were nosebleed, but like the way Drake sets up his stage, his whole stage was on like looked like an iPhone. And this is when he dropped the key, do you love me? Are you right? Like, so you could sit in the highest, you could sit in the rafters. You still gonna be able to be entertained and see the concert. So I'm like, all right, like 400, like I paid like 500 banga. Like at this point, I'm single. Keep your fucking flowers and your dinner. Like like I'm single. I don't know who's gonna.
You definitely deserve to live.
But I'm done spending money. I think the next thing I'm spending money.
I'm like whole stuff.
Say it. What happened?
You got any Stone Cold?
No.
Oh, damn! You know what? Where's that?
You can kick me out so I can eat, but I don't have any. I don't have. Okay, here's the thing.
You're not celebrating today.
No, it's not that I'm not celebrating. Hold on. There's not that I'm not celebrating. I love me some Stone Cold Steve Austin, but like, am I really overhyped by him? No. Like If anything, for us, I feel like we love him is because we love a good, like I said, everybody loves a good deviant and telling people to fuck off and be like against the authority. And he was that for that generation. Like if you had like if you grew up in like a Catholic household like me, you was looking up to Stone Cold.
Get to our 15 talk, but I get you on the merch thing because I can't buy merch for like just any wrestler. Like I gotta really
I gotta really love you.
Do you have rock merch then, P?
You know, huh?
Do you have rock merch?
Yeah, I have all the Ripple Junction rock shirts.
Okay.
Yeah, I got mine. I got mine.
Wait, so you got mine too? You gonna bring it to LA?
Your rock shirt? Oh, your Funko.
Everything that you got we were supposed to have been exchanged.
Oh yeah. I got you. So I want to talk about one of our favorite people. I think all of us can agree on who has made history as the longest reigning Black singles champion in WWE history. And that is Bianca Belair. Can y'all my girl just make it hurt
y'all long enough.
See, now I feel like she made the history, so then if she loses at Mania, then it's like
it's okay. It's kind of okay. It's okay, but it's not okay. P.S. I told her that we congratulated her, and she says thank you.
Oh,
yes.
I love her so much, and she's such a dominant champion. You know, she's not someone where I'm like, oh my god, why is she still champion? Like it's, you know, I think she's doing a really, really, really good job. She out here in these streets with the belt. Yeah, kudos to you, Bianca.
And her impact, like, and watching Raw, because I fell asleep at certain points, but you know, I got up for Bianca. Like, just when her music hits and how everybody, white, black, purple, an alien, a person that got a foot on their forehead, everybody is literally singing her song, doing the whip. Even when I was talking to the kids today, they was like, the guy was like, hold on, the girl that be whipping people like a slave with her hair. I said, yes, her. Like her impact on everybody is just so.
That's one way to describe it.
Yeah, she be whipping.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's just so heartwarming to see because we had women like China and Trish and Lita, but their impact, like visually seeing, wasn't as big as Bianca's is right now from like a visual standpoint from the audience. We only got that with Rock, Austin, and DX, not for us to have it for Bianca. So all about bow down to the real queen. Sorry, Charlotte. Bianca Belair.
Yeah, Bianca got this. She got this. So congratulations, Bianca Belair. She's been champion for 344 days, which surpassed MVP's reign of 343 days. So, and I mean, that's not a bad passing of the torch. Shout out to MVP.
And she thanked him on Twitter too for that.
We love him on this show. Oh, I love shit like that.
Yeah, she thanked him on Twitter for that. So yeah,
I love shit like that. So yeah, we happy for you, girl. Now I'm even more intrigued of what's about to happen in this match with Asuka at Mania. So another Mania storyline I want to touch on is Trish getting attacked by Damage Control.
Ooh.
So I was hoping, I've been like, okay, well, how are they gonna, do this with, Trish in there? And, how y'all feeling about this storyline going into Mania? Y'all into this?
She's turning heel.
This could be honestly, this could be a conversation to be the main event of night one. That's how I feel about it.
Ooh.
I know everybody.
Nothing like ooh.
Yeah. I would put in a conversation if you want to have. So me personally, I would have a women main event one of the nights, right? I think this has the strongest story when you go all the way back to just Bayley. Any story Bailey's in with the legend is a story, right? She's showing the papers with her, like studying Lita, stuff like that. She can talk about her studying Trish, and Bailey's just money. Then you got Bayley and Becky Lynch. That's a story. So, personally, I would put it in a conversation, but I'm very intrigued by it, and I think I like them attacking Trish, but KRISTA said it. That was, a prediction I have as well. As she's turning heel. I wouldn't trust Trish Stratus. I feel like she's been a little too good for a little too long, and I think it's time, for her to get a little dirty. Fan club exclusive.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah. Thank you. The first Monday in March, there will be an article on the Ringer dropping.
You mean in April?
April?
No, the first Monday. I mean, the last Monday in March. I meant to say the Monday before WrestleMania. That's what I should say. There'll be
March
an article.
27th.
There it is. I'm writing 10 WrestleMania matches you may have forgotten about. Shout out to Cal.
Clap and sound.
Love that.
Yeah, thank y'all. Shout out to my editor, senior editor of Ringer and co-host of Wednesday Worldwide, Cal Davenport.
Hello, Cal.
But one of the matches I chose was Christian versus Chris Jericho. And if you remember that, thanks, Vaughn, appreciate you. That's when Trish turned heel. And it's, we think about WrestleMania 20 for He Who Shall Not Be Named on this platform, becoming vacant and winning the championship. We think about,
Eddie and Kurt.
Eddie and Kurt. I was going to say Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, but people forget that Edge and Christian and Chris Jericho just had a banger that night as well. But Trish Stratus was like right front and center in that story, and I think she might do something crazy again. I'm always looking for that WrestleMania double turn. Last year it was Damian Priest. Nobody saw him joining with Edge, so I'm interested to see what we have here.
Me too.
And then Brian touched on it perfect, which is like out of the 3 women's matches that's been announced for WrestleMania, this is the one that actually has the most heat. This goes back to SummerSlam, where Bayley made her debut, bringing out Damage Control, step into Bianca, step into injured Becky Lynch and stuff like that. So you're going back like months. You see the feud with Becky and Bayley that they've had the last couple of months. This is the one horsewoman feud that we've never really gotten, so we're finally getting. You're now inserting Lita and Trish into this picture. You're now inserting the women's tag team titles onto Becky and Lita, so you're adding more fuel to the fire, and it just speaks to where Bianca and Asuka aren't really there yet, and I think that's just because they're both faces and they're both trying to, keep it cool and cordial till we get to Mania, but it's not really adding any juice to it yet. And even Charlotte and Rhea is kind of like, we kind of want to keep y'all apart, but we're not throwing gasoline on the fire just yet. Whereas this one's like, yo, we're here, and now you're just adding a Trish to another layer of this feud. This is the one I'm actually interested in at the moment, which is weird saying because like when all 3 matches were announced, this was like probably the last one I was interested in. But then when you think about the story that they've been telling from SummerSlam to Rumble, and then from Rumble to now, it's like, no, this actually has the most juice. I'm actually intrigued now. As far as main eventing Mania, I still think Charlotte and Rhea should do that just because I still think that if the men's winner of the Royal Rumble main events one of the nights, then you have to have the women's winner main event the other night. And the only reason we didn't get Ronda main eventing last year was because one, Stone Cold Steve Austin came back and it was in Dallas. I mean, when Stone Cold Steve Austin comes back and it's like, yo, I'm actually going to wrestle a match, that main event's any fucking night in WrestleMania.
Done and done. Done and done.
I wanted to say something last. So Seindole, Brian, y'all can go, and then I'll say something. Well, Brian, Seindole, you can go. I just want to say something after that.
I think they're actually going against Brian, and I think they should start night 1 or night 2.
Ooh,
just because I feel like if you want to put on and I hate that people sleep on Damage Control so bad because I feel like everyone in that match is talented as fuck. So I feel like if it came down to having a banging opening, that would be a banger of an opening. And I also can agree with Krista. It's time for Trish to be bad Trish again. Like she has a track record. She has a track record of being her most deviant when the spotlight is not really closely on her, because for a while the spotlight has been closely on Becky and Lita. And I feel like with the taunting and with what happened and them ganging up on Trish, I feel like, you know what? I agree. This may make her snap. This may make her maybe I'm on the wrong side of the fence. Where was you team Bestie? Where was Bestie to really back you up? That type of thing. So I feel like if it's gonna be a recipe for like a good start to a WrestleMania, I feel like that match would be a good start to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I agree with Seindole. I was thinking like Brian, you said main event, that'll be the top women's match to main event. I can see where you're coming from because you have these legends that's in this match with 2 4 horsewomen and 2 brutally badass women in Dakota Kai and Io Sky. However, if they main event, or even if they was to start and Trish goes bad, like, do we see more of Trish and Lita? Are we left on a cliffhanger? Do they leave because that was like her exit, like F this, I'm out type situation? Like, how long do we get them to come back? So either way, we're kind of stuck on the what's next. Like, we all want, I can honestly say, we all want Trish to turn bad. Like, in her demeanor and how, she was getting beat up and this, that, and that. Like, we all want to see it happen. We all want to see it happen, but it's just like the what's next. And then everybody's talking about, how it should be before Asuka Bianca, or just like you said, Charlotte and Rhea should main event because there's really no build. And I'm just like, to be honest, if we're comparing builds, there's really not a build. There's a build for Asuka and Bianca in Mind Games. There's
Bingo.
Not a build verbally. And everybody's not interested because nobody's saying words, but because there's a build.
That's what makes it so much better.
Right.
That is what makes it real much better.
Between Charlotte and Rhea, that's why they want to see. Like, people just can't go off of the gestures and the mind games and stuff like that. Like, who really, no shade, no tea, but who really wants to see Asuka sit here and scream Japanese on the mic and everybody's yelling, what? Like, nobody really wants to see that. But now if you can physically see Asuka spitting out blue mist, holding the belt, teasing Bianca, that's a build right there. So any of those women's matches can either open or main event. But I agree with Seindole. I want to see that tag team.
That would be a great
that 6-woman tag match open night 1 or night 2.
Yeah, that'll be
CRISTA makes a valid point, because like when we see this type of storytelling where they're not really saying much, they're gonna let their actions speak for themselves. That's really what we see in like New Japan builds, where it's like, we're just going to give you like a little bit of a foundation and then they're going to tell the story in ring. So I think that's where it's like, there's no juices fight, because with WWE is the opposite. Is we're going to give you the story and have them do all the story and the pageantry to get to the match. And then the match is the match. Whereas with New Japan is like, nah, we're going to give you everything in the ring. We're just going to make sure we get from point A to point B and then do all the storytelling in the ring. I think that's where it's like a little different. For me, I'm fine with it because I watch New Japan, I fuck with New Japan, but I know for some fans, because I've been seeing this complaint on social media where it's like, this ain't Bianca, Asuka, this ain't really hitting. Charlotte, Rhea, this ain't really hitting. When they gonna touch? When they gonna do something?
True. Also, and this was kind of like this from last year too, because remember, we didn't get a lot of heavy promo matches for Mania and Dallas for either days. And P and Brian can attest, those are like 2 of the best days in wrestling history, period.
Sometimes those work better.
Right. And I feel like if you spill too much, then you won't go on it with the hype and the excitement of what can be or what it can turn out to be. So let them be quiet. Let them give you a little teaser. But I do feel like Trish is definitely turning heel. Like, I could put money on it. I probably won't, or maybe I should.
Maybe you should. You did good in Dallas. You did good in what's the app again?
DraftKings.
I'm about to say, yeah, especially if DraftKings has the betting up for Mania, which they might, because you've been hearing through the grapevine that you might be able to bet on some WWE matches and some pay-per-views.
Well, you too. Well, here's what they do. Like for Royal Rumble, what I didn't like, they only put up the men's. So I couldn't really pick a woman, or they only put up like the Roman match. Like they don't put up the big ones. They only put up like the one, and that's it. So
the betting thing is a whole nother conversation. We have to do that on another episode because it's revving up. We're talking about it the other day.
There's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, our pre-Mania fan club, we can really dive deep into all of the.
Can we do a mega show? Can that be like 3 hours?
It would probably need to be 3 hours.
Says the person who goes on after the show.
Right, like Isn't it on a Wednesday?
No, I'm just saying, and look, these great people say, let's get off soon.
You see, I'm looking at you. I'm like, okay, all right, Hollywood. We understand that you see your hectic schedule, but like, we also got to keep in mind.
I'm about to say, I'm dead looking at my schedule right now. I'm like, can I do 3 hours?
Or May, I'm gonna disappear. I'm gonna be like,
you're gonna be like, poof. You gonna race out the club. You're gonna be the person in the club that's drunk as hell. You only got an hour left of the club, and you're like, fuck it, I want White Castle and sprint out the club. That's what you finna do.
Castle.
That's what you finna do.
Wow, we talking about murder burgers.
She said, "You
I haven't heard that term in so long. Justin, my mother says that. That is hilarious.
What, murder burgers?
Murder burgers.
Murder burgers. They're
murder
so
burgers.
good when you eat them, but they about to pay for that after.
Murder burgers, okay?
Did you say if you want to get cleaned out?
No, for real. That's the detox burger. I'm trying to tell you.
That's
the detox burger.
Bro,
I mean, it's the onions. It's the
so good. Then all of a sudden, 4 hours later.
Oh my god!
Not even 4 hours, an hour and a half. But you know what? I'm gonna just
the safest thing on the menu is the chicken ring sandwich. That's it. That is all. Don't get the onions. Yeah, man.
Oh man, I used to love.
Don't get your sandwich with onions, and you'll be fine.
Damn, murder burgers! I haven't had that in forever.
Me neither.
Yeah,
for that exact same reason, girl.
All the White Castles in the Bronx I know of closed.
Really?
Yeah, there's only one in Brooklyn now. The other one,
the one on Tremont closed.
Atlantic closed.
Yeah. Y'all not coming to Jersey for no goddamn murder burger, so let's just cut that out the race.
I don't got gas for that.
You lost me at Jersey.
Don't do that.
He talking that.
Ballin'.
When you figure out the border between DC and Maryland, you can give me a call. Anyway, P, continue.
Yeah. Okay, so about NXT.
Hey yo,
touche souffle.
But don't you live in Virginia? I'm confused.
Thank you. Borders. Continue, my sis.
So, have y'all been watching NXT?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now I am.
Producer.
I missed it on Tuesday.
So this is official now?
Yeah.
The NXT women's thing? All right, Brian, explain it to us since you've been watching.
Producer Sean is at it again. He's regurgitating all his old stories.
Yes, he
so
is.
we saw,
wandering eye.
See, I'm not in the
business.
Stop it. But so y'all saw a couple weeks, a month ago, when he did the barbershop scene, but modernize it with Ding Dong Hello, right? So Roxanne pushes herself has this match with Miko Satomura, and then afterwards she had the match, won, and then she collapsed. And do y'all remember when Shawn Michaels did that with Owen Hart?
Yeah, it instantly brought me back.
Remember how the song "Tell Me a Lie" was like the soundtrack for that whole storyline, and so what was that? 96. Yeah, so 10-year-old me who's starting to like Shawn Michaels because he's a baby face, so I'm supposed to like him. Actually, 95, so I'm 9. I'm like, man, he really hurt because you remember he got beat up by some Marines. Like, got beat up. So they worked
in the bar. He got jumped in the bar.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta do your math properly because we're only 4 years apart. So
but that's a lot in wrestling years, though.
It is.
It's like a lot in wrestling years.
I wasn't watching at that time.
Bingo. So I'm sitting there, and Roxanne, same thing. Now granted, they are keeping this so like hush hush, so you don't know if it's a shoot or it's a work. You want to believe it. Okay, it's just a work, but if you look at Roxanne, the way the character was going. This is, instead of turning her heel, this could maybe make her turn on a switch to get an edge. This could also put that sympathy behind her. I do like the fact that they're having, this vacated women's championship, and of all matches, it's a ladder match. Now follow me here, because you have Roxanne, you have Zoe Stark and Gigi Dolan, and you'll have a couple other people. Who's to say that Roxanne?
I know where you're going with this,
right?
Who's to say Roxanne doesn't show up, with a championship, and she's like, "I'm the real champion," and then the other girl shows up with a championship, And then what are they doing? Regurgitating WrestleMania 10 because
Roxanne didn't drop anything. She didn't relinquish anything.
And remember,
Shawn Michaels.
He didn't want to give up the title because he said he wasn't on drugs or whatever, but he failed the test. And Vince McMahon said, "Okay, you get suspended." They had a battle royal, so they put both belts up. So I wouldn't be surprised if Stand and Deliver, we get a new champion, or I think they don't want to do the whole interim championship. So, and if Shawn Michaels is watching, he might switch the story now.
He's like, oh, they caught on.
Yeah. And so now I'm just waiting for Braun Breaker to lose his smile.
That part, okay? Somebody listen.
Damn, bro.
All I know is I do not want to see the Montreal. That's all I don't want to see. Like, we don't need to regurgitate.
No, thank you.
We got
Braun's losing that title anyhow.
A collapsing person. Now we need somebody to lose their smile and then come back and do some crazy ass stunts from a back injury.
I mean, who knows? Let's take it a little bit further. We might get a new version of DX soon. We don't know.
Wait a minute.
We don't know.
Look, we already got Cora Jade turning on Roxanne. That's Triple H turning on Shawn Michaels. Basically. Right at when Shawn Michaels came back. I mean, if sometimes you got to play the hits.
So he didn't get. She didn't get by a car or nothing, right? It was not on camera.
I don't think we should do that. Not yet. We don't know though.
It was you. And the doctor said, "I'll be good by SummerSlam." We didn't get that.
No,
not yet.
But what I do love is the showcase of women's wrestling there because we're getting good matches. I'm glad they're not pushing Sol Ruka like to the moon.
Yeah, it's too soon.
Yeah, but they're letting her showcase. I mean, first of all, diversity in black women. Her dad is like a black surfer, and people don't know, like, there's black people that like to surf.
When I was on her Instagram, I was like, that's her daddy. I said, hold the fuck up. And I see her do like stunts and handstands and all that. I said, what? What kind of fucking?
That's why a lot of us were surprised she was black when we saw her, but that's like, a surfer. So it's good to see that variety. Like I always said, we're diverse within ourselves.
Right.
It's true.
Yeah, that's one thing NXT got, which I love to see for sure. But I'm here for something happening with Roxanne. I do feel like she needs somewhat of a spark. A lot of people were saying maybe she could be going to the main roster. I don't think she's ready. And also, like, I think certain people just like fit in NXT. Like, be the star of NXT. Like, not everybody needs to go to Raw and SmackDown.
So here's my qualm. That's the thing. I was just about to say that she's young, but I think where people give her that exoneratory push is that she's like how CM Punk started, how, like how Daniel Bryan started, how Matt Hardy and Jeff both started. They all started super young. So like, we shouldn't have this urgency to keep pushing them to main roster. Like, oh, they're so good, push main roster. You don't need that. Like let the seeds grow a little bit, because while you also take into account the fact they grew up in the indies, right? Yeah. You still need to turn them, like I said, into WWE superstars. It's the reason why Bianca had a little bit easier, because she was made in WWE. She didn't have a lot of prior training. It's the reason why, for example, like we're gonna say Carmelo Hayes, same thing. He grew up a little bit in indies, but it wasn't like too over.
Christian Casanova was a problem.
Exactly. Like it's hard to tune people from being wrestlers into superstars, and like being a performer. It's not for everybody. And it's like you realize you start developing these internal issues that a lot of wrestlers have had, and then now they go off to be like, "Fuck this! I'm going to AEW because now I could be a wrestler again." And it's no, this is because you weren't being able to tune to be a wrestler. I mean, a WWE superstar from a wrestler. Yeah. It sucks to probably hear, and it's exactly why. I think I saw a tweet that somebody called Toni Storm, I think it was an indie princess or something like that, because she was boohooing and crying that she wasn't getting the treatment she deserved in WWE. But here she is in AEW getting that treatment. It's like, you were complaining about what? Not being the next Charlotte, and look at you. You're working with Saraya and you're in a stable. You're on the same level as Charlotte. Like, there's nothing to compete with that. Like it's true. Like some people just don't adapt to it. Some people, their egos get big. They think they're big somewhere, and then they get to WWE and they're like, okay, welcome to the farm, B. Like you got to sit here and pick up shit from the cows like everybody else and milk your own cows. And until you learn how to do it the way that we say you do it, we'll put you out there. If not, it's not.
That's true.
And then to piggyback off Seindole,
I'm just keeping it 100. Like we just like everybody gotta learn to eat shit. Everybody, like it's who can eat shit and who can't.
Right.
And Seindole made a great point. Like, look at Charlotte Flair, look at Bianca Belair, look at Rhea Ripley, look at Liv Morgan. One thing in common: patience. They didn't rush them to superstardom. They got to go to NXT, take their time, not have the spotlight forced on them, and they got to cultivate their skills, grow their skills, learn their shit. And then when they go to the main roster, it's like, okay, now we can kind of do stuff with this. And even then, sometimes you need a Mandy Rose where it's like, let me go back and learn the fundamentals and all this shit because this wasn't him the first time.
Perfect two people that I could think that perfectly adapted from NXT to main roster and have been in the indie scene are our queen, Mercedes Moné, because she was Mercedes when she was indie. She came to WWE. Even though she wanted to go to Japan first, she said, okay, let me sit here and learn what I need to learn. And look at what happened in WWE. Thrived. And another person would be our girl, Becky Lynch, because Becky Lynch spent years in Shimmer learning under Saraya and her mother. Then she got that WWE contract and she said, listen, like I'm struggling down here. I'm not going to lie. She struggled at NXT. It's no big cap to it, but look at where she is today. Thriving. The last woman standing, literally. Her and Charlotte are the last two standing, and Bayley.
Mariah come back and
True,
her versus Becky.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy.
The more you know.
Have this feeling that like some people are just like born to be WWE superstars.
Right.
And, like Becky's one of those people to me, Mercedes one of those people to me, you know, like it is what it is. But speaking of AEW real quick, Taya Valkyrie just signed to AEW. And I also feel like she's someone who might not be the WWE fit. But she literally has thrived everywhere else. I loved her debut. I'm ready. I would love to see her take the title off of Jade. I think she is worthy of that.
Somebody has to. Somebody has to.
But like, not for nothing. This is gonna be when this match happens, a banger of a match, bro. Like, like
I'm here for it. I loved her debut. Everything about it.
Her using the Jade's finisher on somebody else was chef's kiss. I'm sorry. It was
well done. I was almost surprised at how well done it was because it was like AEW, like you know, them holding Jade back, you know, so we still haven't gotten a face-to-face yet. So this could, if it's done right, this could be a really good feud. And if it does lead to Jade dropping the title to Ty, like I think all of it could be a win-win. And if they do a little back and forth feud, or maybe Jade finally goes for the main title, it is time to take that belt off of Jade. I'm like, it doesn't have any fire to it anymore. And I think Taya debuting might add that fire to her reign.
I'm gonna agree with you. And I say this, like, you want the person to take it from her to mean something, right? You want it to be a superstar. It's a women's mid-card title, but it's still a main event title. It could be presented as a main event title because Jade is that crossover superstar. So it wouldn't make sense to put it on somebody who already has like a blemish on their record. Give it to somebody who is established. And I think this makes it kind of equal. But then it also, when Jade is, you know, finished beefing with Taya, she can move on to the world championship and it'll make sense. And this AEW has an opportunity right here to make both of their women's championships like literally 1A and 1B rather than 1 and 2.
Well, it's like, even considering the fact that the person they just signed on to be a producer. Come on, bro. Yeah, okay. We like to joke on Tony and his caffeine jitters looking ass all the time, but who he just signed to be a producer is a big smart move, and I feel like it's followed up with more. And lately, like I said, I feel like the writing was on the wall that things are going to get a little bit better when we saw how good Revolution was. Again, unfortunately, it was overshadowed by other things, but other than that, that was a really good pay-per-view. So for me, it's
really,
just like
really good.
It was a good pay-per-view overall. So for me, even people are questioning why homeboy Double J, what's going on with him? I think that's going to be even more interesting. I feel like with the trios title, that's going to be like everything's starting to get interesting now. The only interest that's left is if Taya can really be the person to take it off of Jade. We're finally going to see Jade enter the world title picture as she should have. As she should have from the beginning. Like, not for nothing. And again, we love to see two Black women at the top of the longest reign in history. But like, Jade deserves so much more, and more comes into that AEW Women's Championship.
That's true. Wait, so who's the current AEW Women's Champion?
Jamie Hayter.
Jamie Hayter.
Right. I'm not mad at that.
And that reign's going really great too.
And it's been going good. And the fact that for me, it's weird that they would have, like, you would usually see these divisions of champions in the men's division, but to have like Jamie as women's champion and Jade as the TBS women's champion or whatever, you're right. She does need to drop it so she can go higher. Jade has been holding it down for so long. It's been almost a year now, I want to say.
Over a year.
Over a year, where she's like 52 or 50 something and 0.
4, I believe I saw.
Yeah, 53, 54. So yeah, like you're right. It's time for Jade to drop and move up.
Yeah, it's about that time. So let's go into a break. Then we'll come back with our spotlight of the week, our favorite Stone Cold Steve Austin moments of all time, and also what wrestling hills y'all are willing to die on. So I want to give us a good amount of time to get into that. I hope everybody came to the fan club with their assignments. What wrestling?
It's in a class.
I did.
Y'all in the comments.
Everybody in the comments.
Okay.
I'm gonna say I just found out just now. So
you have some time.
Mine lives in my head rent free. See, I already know I'm about to say, but go ahead.
Mine's in my head rent free too.
All right.
That I think we've always kind of planned to do
is
be able to do a spotlight episode on someone and then hopefully hear from them. So I think we should just introduce our guest of honor.
Right.
Jazz, let's do it.
He's here?
Let's do it. Yeah. Jazz is here.
Oh my gosh.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. I'm fangirling right now. I'm so sorry.
we get like just a minute just to fangirl real quick.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing.
Can I just mention, besides that being a perfect episode, can we just mention P and I's upgrade?
I was just about to say that. The girls have come the longest way ever.
Like that was when I was like, CRISTA had no couch in her apartment because she just moved in interview. And she was going to interview from her bedroom, okay?
So that's also our excitement too. I love seeing our excitement in that video when she popped up because that was something we always wanted to do. Hopefully we can do more of those.
We need a part 3 with Jazz P.
Yeah, like we spotlight interview. Like I wish we could do that for like every wrestler that we
It's gonna happen. It's going to happen. Mania is like literally
manifested
6 days away.
Manifesting
it, and that's it. Like it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely right.
That's the process.
So let's go on to our indie spotlight of the week. So we started doing this for Black History Month, and now we're going to continue doing it, and now it's Women's History Month. So Seindole nominated the wonderful Savannah Evans. Why was it time for us to spotlight homegirl?
Because she's hot.
She is hot.
It's so hot. I'm sorry. She said, besides her being, we love Battle Club Pro over here on this fan club. Besides her being the franchise champion, the Battle Club Pro 5-point champion, besides her being the awesome winner of the Faye Jackson Gray Sweatpants Battle Royal at Jobber Slam Part 2, which we were all front row for, and ranking number 56 on the PWI 150 this year in 2022. She's just awesome. Like she's hot. She's hot when she's in this getup. She's hot when she's in a sweatpants and some Tim boots do something. I'm just saying she's all around powerhouse, badass, wonderful human being in person, by the way. But yeah, she's just that bitch. Like if Jade Cargill can have somebody in her baddie section, and you know, we love Layla, but you're not strong enough. If Jade was to have another strong arm, it'd be Savannah. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
And she's hot. If we can have a girl hall pass here, like I'm just slide.
I mean, one could be world champion, the other could be TBS champion.
I mean, slide. That too. But yeah, slide. Maybe I am shooting shots. Maybe I'm shooting bullets. I don't know. But I'm just saying, I had to pick her this week. Like it sat on the back of my mind, and I was like, no, we're gonna do this. Especially when Women's Crush Wednesday on Wednesday, April 12th at Battle Club Pro in our normal place of Brooklyn. I had to shout her out.
Yeah.
I'm glad you
nominated her because I got to see her wrestle a couple times, and my favorite moment is her winning the sweatpants.
Yeah.
Like the moment her Faye Jackson had.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
You hit the nail on the head with nominating Savannah Evans, and she's the sweetest person ever. Like one of the most
Savannah Evans, so sweet
people ever. And can I just say, once we go and come back from WrestleMania, is literally nonstop wrestling for the rest of the year. So it's gonna be a time. We're gonna have a time. It's gonna be a time.
It's the business we in. 50 however many weeks it is in the year. 52.
Ain't no off season.
Bingo.
None.
If there's a woman on the indies that we need to be spotlighting, let us know. Hashtag TWG Fan Club, because we definitely want to keep doing this. Like, because you know the indies is massive. We're just talking about a lot of New York based wrestlers, East Coast based wrestlers, but Texas, we've got Cali. There's a lot out there. We want to make sure that we're giving this platform to indie wrestlers because it really helps. This type of social media buzz, you know, really, really helps. I do want to quickly shout out Jay Bougie, who is just killing it out there right now.
He's wrestling this weekend.
And he was in the Bronx on Friday. I really, really wish I was able to go, but he works.
And he has and he has a show out here in Jersey for the 5th anniversary of BCW. And he's fighting against a former member. And he's
going
fighting
to beat Khan.
Okay. He gonna beat Khan. Here we go. His chief advisor up here says that he's going to beat him. So we're gonna put
he already took out an Uso and threw his ones up. So you know, that's the reason he's a star.
Okay. We love it.
The rise
of
Bougie.
Just say yes, my tribal chief one time, Brian. We're gonna be all right.
No, we don't bite off other people.
At this point, wise man.
Why Hollywood wise? Oh, you got a lot going on, Brian.
You are booked and busy, baby.
He's about to be in his environment in Hollywood when we go to.
Oh my God! No, he's probably not even gonna speak to us.
He's gonna be like, "Who are you again?"
He's gonna be like, "And you are those who never heard of you." Brian, don't forget about us.
Did I do that in Dallas?
Just don't go flow.
Dallas is different from Hollywood, though.
Exactly. And
don't go flow. Don't go flow on them, Brian. That's it. Don't go flow from progressive on them.
I'm just a nobody.
Brother Hugh be taking your taco orders for you because you don't want to talk to the taco person. Don't do that. That's all. He's gonna
be eating food or whatever. He's just gonna throw it in our hand. Throw this out for me. Excuse me. What? I will throw this in your face.
I could never.
I just need 2 bites here. You can have the rest.
That's it.
This is for peasants.
Right. This is
as a Hollywood extraordinaire like me. I need high
coming
class.
to the club. I could never.
You like coming to New York.
You like coming to the club?
I do. I like coming here.
You like coming to New York, so you can never.
I love going to New York.
Okay.
Everybody loves going to New York. So
remember where you come from.
Ooh.
What? Why are you coming at me? I didn't even do anything. All I did was do what I do, and let's put over the greatest wrestler from the Bronx, and I get heat.
I just feel like everybody has to catch the
but I put over the greatest wrestler from the Bronx, and then you
like the greatest wrestler
from the Bronx.
Justin hasn't gotten
that's valid. He might just be the greatest one in the Bronx.
He is that guy. I mean, he is that guy.
I agree.
So y'all know who inspired him, right? You know who his favorite wrestler was growing up, right?
Oh.
The Rock. Duh. No, just kidding.
No, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It was Mrs. 316 just whoop your ass.
Yeah, that's why he talks a lot of shit. There's a lot of mannerisms that Jay Bougie has, and it's all inspired by Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Let me wish my brother happy 316 day. He gonna be like, what?
So
like, exactly.
I forgot to wish Peter happy 316 day. I mean,
a lot of people text me. I was like, oh, thank you. Shout out to Vaughn because he definitely texted me happy 316.
I was the first one to put it in the chat this morning. Okay, I was up with Jesus in my book. So
okay, do you want a gold star?
Yes, 2 of them. Thank you.
She said, give her two
over the eye. Over the I in KRISTA and next to the dot, next to the B in KRISTA B. Okay, make sure it's there and it's shiny. Thank you.
There you go. 1. There you go. 2. Wow.
Thank you.
I'll leave with KRISTA.
Period.
All right, so you know we had to celebrate 16 day in TWG Fan Club. So I want to hear some of y'all favorite Stone Cold moments that you remember that lives in your head rent free. And please don't say the beer trunk. Please don't say that.
Okay, well then I'm gonna be quiet.
Oh, come on. You think I like the best one?
Like, I want to hear different stuff.
Yo,
can I go first then?
I'm gonna say, can I go first? Because I have a really good one. But if this is
mine's is funny though. You pick the order.
Why don't y'all do the DX thing?
Pick the order.
Wait. Since this is P's favorite wrestler, P, you pick the order.
There you go.
I'm gonna go with, what is that, counterclockwise? So you, Brian, and then KRISTA and Justin and Seindole.
A Stone Cold moment that lives in my head rent free is right before SummerSlam 2001, and he was with the Alliance and he was running things, and it's so uncomfortable to watch, but it was hilarious at the same time when he was whipping Taz. And I think this is when he started the what, or it might have been later. No, it wasn't the what started yet, but he was such a good heel. And I think because we wanted him to be the face, right? But Austin was such a good heel and he was so paranoid, and he played that paranoid role so well. Like, he made you think Kurt Angle was what Brock Lesnar is today. So the mere fact that he was thinking that there was like a leak in the Alliance and everybody wasn't living up to the standards, that's why that's like one of the moments when he beat. I had to go back and watch that tonight.
That's a good one. I think you're right. People like, because I think his heel turn was such a like, what the fuck kind of moment that you don't really appreciate what he did as a heel. So yeah, I do love that. Yeah, oh god, he was so funny.
So here's my favorite besides beer truck, because duh. He was calling, it was an attitude era, so he was calling out Vince or somebody in the McMahons or whatever. And during his promo, he couldn't say Greenwich. He kept saying, you sit at your desk in the office in Greenwich. Greenwich. Nobody's gonna tell him that it's Greenwich. Like, nobody's gonna tell him that it's Greenwich. He kept calling it Greenwich, Connecticut. And I was just sitting here in tears. I'm just like, I know they had to tell him in the back that, bro, you pronounced this all the way wrong. Like, it's Greenwich and not Greenwich. So that's like really one of the promos that kind of stand out, because with his accent and his raspy voice is just so much more funnier. And then I have another one, but I think it's more so of the Rock moment with Stone Cold. I think it's like leading up to their last Mania, and they're in the ring and they're singing with each other, and they're trying to like cut a promo, and the Rock comes out like, you come out and you keep saying what and what, like he just keeps going at it, and then Stone Cold takes the mic and go, what so it's like him in the audience like literally feeding into the Rock's BS. That was a good moment too.
No, that was funny. I do love that moment.
Seindole.
So I tweeted.
Oh, Justin, sorry.
I was about to say, we're just gonna skip over me.
Go ahead.
So she said this, and she said my name, and then Seindole. I know how it looks on her screen, so I was just going by what she said. Sorry.
So I tweeted my favorite. So if you pull up my Twitter account, you can see mine, which is basically where Stone Cold hijacks Raw and just stuns fucking everyone. The first one where he's stunning, was it Mark Henry? He's going after Jeff Jarrett. He's not able to get him. So when Jeff Jarrett has his match later on that night, he comes back out. He finally gets Jeff Jarrett with a stunner. And it's basically like the whole show is basically built on Stone Cold's warpath going into the pay-per-view. And then like in the main event, it's what? Triple H and Val Venus, and they're having a tear apart. Stone Cold comes out again. And you hear Michael Cole like, oh, for God's sakes, he's out here again. And it's literally just Stone Cold stunning everyone in sight going into the go home show. It was like, it's fucking hilarious because it's just like, bro, all he does is come out, stunner, middle fingers, all fucking night. It's hilarious.
That's such a good moment. I like low-key forgot about that.
Me too. So my brother responded to Happy 316 Day with the hell yeah.
Nice. See, he knows what's up.
He knows. Him and P had like him and Brian had a whole conversation. So
Peter responded to 316 Day with this. But my favorite, so Patricia said, right, I couldn't say beer truck. She ain't say nothing about the Zamboni. So she didn't say nothing about the Zamboni. So that one was a Raw that I was like anticipating. I'm like, he's gonna do something, because this is around the time he was starting to do all the fuck shit. Like, so the beer truck happened, and then the next week he's in there with a Zamboni. I'm like, wait, how are you able to get a whole Zamboni backstage through the ring and then outside? And I said, oh, I forgot what arena they were in. But I'm trying to find out. And then I have two. The second one, though, I can't forget. The first time I really like paid attention to how deviant he was the whole him and Vince McMahon in the hospital, where Vince was like sitting there stressed the fuck out. and then like, mind you, oh, hey baby. Oh, and basically like you see this man in a nightgown and a nightcap, and I'm back in my head, I'm like, I'm wondering if that's Austin or if it's somebody fucking with him or somebody just in the ring. And all of a sudden he turns around, he starts attacking him. And then, when I tell you, I never peed my pants so hard when he knocked him in the head with that bedpan. I died. That shit went.
Bang! Hold that.
Yo, that
shit
was hilarious.
So hard. Oh my gosh. Everything that they did with Vince and Stone Cold, like that, it never got
a lot of great moments.
Yeah, he was yours. You since you're the
I don't have one.
You don't have one.
I don't have a favorite.
Give us his top three since he's your guy.
Since he's your favorite, give us the top three.
Top three. Okay.
You got Stone Cold and Booker at the
Justin. We said Patricia.
I'm just saying. I'm giving her options.
That was a good one too. That was a good one though. Thank you, Justin. Because that was.
You know what's the end?
You can't kick me out the club, baby. That's reserved for the. Love you, Justin.
He was just trying to help.
I appreciate it. Let me see.
Listen, because I was going to tell the same thing. I was like, well, you had when he, took over the corporate office and walked in and was just like, tell everybody what to do. Good. But now I'm scared to give you suggestions. You on your own.
That was good. Dan, thank you. You got my back, saying I appreciate that. But I honestly, that wasn't in my head either, Krista. So thank you for that one. That was a good one. I would say my most memorable, I think, because it made me just love him more than life, is when he saved Stephanie. That me and my sister was like, oh my God, thank you. Because I told y'all we were so concerned.
It was a concerning moment.
So concerned. And when he saved her, I was just like, you see, he's really, really good. You see, he's the best person ever. It's so hard for me to think of, him winning the Royal Rumble. Those are amazing moments. It's hard to narrow it down to three, because I literally watched the Raw waiting for the glass to break. I was just like, what, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? I'm not going to kick Rakasha out the club, but I love you, girl.
Not the birthday twin. Not the birthday twin.
Yeah, you can't do that.
To your point, right? The moment you talked about, because I think Justin Seindole just said that soundtrack when Paul Bearer is sitting up there saying to Undertaker, Now you may now kiss your bride, and then JR goes, "Oh, for God's sakes!" and then boom, right on cue. like
so good.
Like the production of like
it's
everything,
really
the glass
good.
breaks, and it had to been one of his biggest pops. I think the obvious one is Mick Foley winning the title January.
Oh, that was gonna be my next one, and I was gonna say that was gonna be my next one because I was just watching. I don't know what was I watching where that was discussed. Oh, maybe the WCW versus WWE.
Oh yeah,
the Alliance.
Yeah, I think that's the one I was watching. Oh, also I love the whole like Mike Tyson moment.
Oh yeah,
that was awesome.
Like speaking of production, like it was just so well done. Like it really felt like Stone Cold was interrupting something big. Like and if you look very closely, Stone Cold and Mike Tyson like don't even really touch. But they were able to make the commotion so believable.
So big, yeah.
You didn't even really pay attention to that. And then I really believe that Vince was like so bad, so cool. And I just think it's so good, like how disappointed he is. So I think that's up there.
You see the comment by the Wealth Warrior because that was actually a good funny moment.
1,000%. 1,000%.
That was. But I have one for you too, Pete. I have one for you. How about last year when you almost took my knees off?
Oh my God!
Literally, I promise you. Because all right, we saw him the first night or whatever. I made sure Pete was going to hit that floor when Stone Cold came out. The second night, he's like, right, we already know what we're going to do. We're going to be here. That glass broke. I had no kneecaps. Because he was like, oh, like literally, I went to talk to her and I just saw her go this way, and I just felt the breeze like hit my knees, and I'm like, oh nah, like I ain't.
She was giving road runner.
She wanted to carry me.
She's running for your check.
Okay, that's my favorite Stone Cold moment.
And then we got to see a Stone Cold Vince match.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And impromptu one too.
The greatest stunner.
Right.
Oh Lord.
So yeah,
another nod to WWE production, because if you watch that playback, you would think that shit hit, and it was bad. It was really the worst stunner. Oh, I also love when he stunned Vince for the first time. It's just so nostalgic. Like I literally remember, like I'm sitting in my living room watching that moment. So that's another good one.
But what if they? Now that you think about it, what if they tried to recreate the first bad stunner? Make it like the last bad stunner, because the first one, the first one, although it's kind of hard to, but in the podcast where Vince was so happy to be on Stone Cold's podcast, they talked about it, they laughed about it, how Vince didn't tuck his head like he was supposed to when he had to catch him up here. And that's how he ended up kind of like flipping over. And then when you go back to this last one, it kind of was the same thing. So I thought it was
I'm sorry. The worst looking stunner was the one he did on Mae Young. That shit looked awkward.
Mae Young
that shit looked awkward. I don't care what anyone says. It looked awkward as hell.
Mae Young was old and like she really had no neck at the time. So what was you grabbing?
Yeah, but this is the same woman who took a freaking like a 3D.
She didn't need a neck for a 3D. She didn't need a neck for a power bomb through the chair.
Right.
She needed a neck for a stunner. She needed some type of support.
Yeah, because essentially she could just lay her head into the shoulders for the 3D.
Just like you need, like, what are you grabbing onto? Like it's like trying to hang up a hanger with no hook. Like what are you grabbing onto?
Stop it.
I'm sorry.
Yo,
stop it right now. Wait, I have a question for y'all.
And I love Mae Young. She's a Pisces. Happy heavenly birthday.
Love you, girl.
Legend.
Who takes the stunner the best?
The Rock. He sells it the best. He sells it the best.
It depends on what you like. You know, if you want that dramatic.
Nah, I feel like Michael Cole took it better than expected.
I ain't in the. I think. I just watched the one Scott Hall took yesterday.
Oh,
that
was classic. And then Theory, tried to do the same thing. It was cool.
It was cool.
Well, Pat McAfee's was memorable. because of what he did afterwards, by him just like standing there just pouring the beer in his mouth.
And I like when he gives people stunners after he offers them a beer because it's just such a good visual.
No, the best one to me, when it was Roddy Piper, like when they had the Piper's Pit at the last WrestleMania in Hollywood, because I just watched that one over, and he just did it to Carlito. Carlito took it very well. You have Piper living his best fucking life. He's like, I'll drink a beer. I could take it. Another one. I'm gonna just mimic him, and he's just mimicking him, living his best life, and then boom. I was like, that clip from Divorce Court where the girl's like, she's just like,
yo, you did that so good, Sienna.
Also, what I love about the Stunners, I love the build up, because remember when we were in Brooklyn and Vince was talking about how, he made this company by himself and this, that, and the third. So now they all in the ring. Stephanie got out of there. She was not playing.
She's like, bye.
And Vince was just like, hey, don't stun me. I'm a senior citizen now. I'm in the AARP club. And everybody is just like, what? What? He goes, stun Shane. He just jumped off of Hell in the Cell at WrestleMania. And Vince was, and Stone Cold was like, okay, like trying to feed it to it. He still gave him the fingers and stunned him. And then stunned Shane. You saw the beer come out of his mouth. It'll be those buildups.
But I was gonna say, to P's point, when she talked about him offering people beer, Goldberg at WrestleMania 20, because I felt like that was a shoot. Like, yo, after that match, like, you can see Austin's face the whole time. He's like so irritated.
If there's anyone that has to deal with the crowd turning on them, it's Stone Cold. So I feel like he was in a ring like, what the fuck?
Yeah. He made a national catchphrase. Like, there's nothing you could do.
Like the Rock coming out when Roman won Royal Rumble. And he was like, wait, even I didn't make y'all feel better about this? Like,
see, that's different.
That's a little different.
Everybody wanted Daniel Bryan to win.
I don't see anyone booing Stone Cold in the ring. I could be biased, but in a similar situation, I don't see anyone booing.
They booed Stone Cold when he first transferred to the Alliance. They booed him.
Now?
No, not now. You're talking about back when the Alliance thing happened. But that we now know that he was being undercover. We now know.
Bias,
Wait, say it again, P.
No, I was saying, like, as a legend, like, it's hard for me to think of anyone like booing Stone Cold in the ring, but I think I could be biased.
No, you're right. Nobody's gonna boo Stone Cold in the ring as a legend, but nobody booed The Rock as a legend either. They booed Roman Reigns.
No, yeah, I totally agree. Like, I don't think they were booing him. I think that he thought that him coming out would like make the crowd feel better about it.
And it did work. It did until Roman won Royal Rumble, because that was Daniel Bryan's comeback. That was Daniel Bryan's moment where they wanted to win. So the Rock coming out and beating the Authority's ass, everybody felt better. But because Roman ended up winning and Daniel Bryan got eliminated so early, Philly was just like, fuck this shit. I'm done.
Oh God, Brian's triggered. Let's change the subject.
Who's triggered?
Brian's triggered.
Oh, sorry.
Yo, that rule.
I just had to remind P, because sometimes she be forgetting the key points and she had the main points.
No, I didn't forget. But thank you.
But you know one thing about Austin that's so great as we celebrate 316 is the memes, and I just threw this together. All the memes. It's like,
oh my God, this is so cool.
He is so memeable.
Oh, like, 100%. Oh my God.
My favorite meme was there, Justin. Brian.
It was a rush job.
Okay. So my favorite meme that first one is carrying the grocery bags and wearing the shorts and the flip-flops. And it's like,
no, oh my God. Yo.
Not making 2 trips was a person.
You talk about grocery stores, the moment with him and Booker T during their feud in the supermarket, I was like, yo, what the hell? Like, this man was in the freezer, y'all. Y'all realize he was in the freezer?
Those walk-in freezers ain't no joke either.
I just remember
the one with him and Shawn Michaels, and they said when your parents on Christmas.
Oh, yeah, the one like one happy parent, the mean parent.
Yeah. It's like he didn't know what they bought, but yeah, because
that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
You know what?
I gotta ask. Can we ask this question?
Yeah.
LA Knight. Stone Cold. What? Like, are y'all here for it? LA Knight and Stone Cold?
What, like a match?
Whether it's a match or an interaction at
I would say a quick interaction.
A quick interaction would be good.
Yeah, a yeah versus what
thing worthy.
Yeah,
it'll be like a yeah versus what thing. I can see that.
I think that would be.
I can see them going back and forth stupidly, and then Stone Cold just getting pissed off and stunning his ass. That's all I can see.
That's literally all it needs to be. And LA Knight is growing on me too, so I wouldn't mind him getting there.
Me too.
That's his reward for the Mountain Dew match. And Bray
that
Wyatt
match wasn't that bad.
I liked
it. The gimmick of it.
No, it wasn't. But I'm saying,
yes, it was.
Like, most of the time when you get in the ring with Bray Wyatt and you get in the ring with the Fiend, it's hard to bounce back. And he's showing that he could possibly bounce back.
Yeah.
And then it's not also on them. It's more the fact that for some ridiculous reason, WWE doesn't know what to do with Bray Wyatt. Like, y'all think they figured out the way Bray, like, yeah, Pete, my reaction exactly. You think every time we think they know what to do with him, y'all like slither back into not knowing what to do with him.
Well,
it's
Brock
annoying.
Said, nope. He said,
yeah,
nope,
Brock was like, give me the tall Nigerian dude that was rolling with MVP a couple of weeks ago. Give me that.
So he went viral on TikTok with those with the F5.
He's in Toys R Us that's newly opened, and he's like, no, I don't want the baby giraffe. Give me the tall one right there. I want that. Like, I want that.
Yeah. But it's sad to see, like, everybody was waiting for Bray Wyatt the Fiend to come back, right?
Right.
And then you would think that they had some type of game plan, some type of creation for some type of creative for him, some type of something. And it's like you bounce back between the Fiend, you have Uncle Howdy, then you go Bray Wyatt's fight.
And Uncle Howdy was working.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like I did see that the match is still going to happen at Mania. I did see that.
Who knows?
But it just sucks that you really don't have a right creative. Like that last what's the word I'm looking for? Promo with segment with Bobby Lashley is going back to when he had that match with John Cena at WrestleMania. Like that shit was trash.
It's a joke.
Trash. And I know it's a joke, but knowing Bray Wyatt and John Cena's match, that shit was ass to me. I don't care what nobody say.
The Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah, it was.
I felt like that was the way of that match happening, so that no one could touch John Cena, because as we know, John Cena would then go on to take his hiatus and start his show. So that's a little bit different. I don't see Bobby. I think him and Bobby Lashley would probably have like a full-on match, but yeah, the fun. We don't need the fun.
We don't need it. It's like we want the.
We don't.
Uncle Howdy, like do it around the Fiend and Uncle Howdy, because now you're playing this mind game of like, who do I have to face? Now you're making Bobby Lashley think like, do I have to have the Hurt Business out here again? Do I have to really sit and have to really watch tape to see, or do something like when AJ Styles and Undertaker did the Boneyard match? Do something to that extent to where you got people invested in wanting to see Bobby Lashley versus the Fiend / Uncle Howdy. I'm gonna stop giving my creatives away, because
but I feel you. But it's just, again, it's just the lack of like I don't understand why there's such a roadblock and what to do with Bray, because the pudding was like set, the Jello was in the freezer like set. And then y'all just like y'all like, fuck this pudding. We're gonna make Jello. Yeah, no, like fuck this pudding. We're gonna make cake. Like, bro, you just had dessert in the like. What are you doing? Like, it frustrates me a lot, because this man like literally took a hiatus and told y'all like, I'm not happy with where things are going. I'm not happy personally. I'm out. And then you bring him back, and then you put him right back in square one. Like, it's just bogus. Yeah, it's bogus to me.
It's trash.
Yeah,
justice for the Fiend,
right? But it's hard to real quick, because like his character is so character driven. So it's like after like the 3 weeks where everything is interesting, like you really got to kind of keep that up. And if you have too many people in the kitchen cooking, it's like it's hard to really execute a lot with Bray Wyatt, in my opinion. So I think I feel like it's going to be hard for him to be like 100% happy with where his character is going.
And I've always felt this, and y'all can correct me if you think I'm going crazy with it. I feel like they don't want to let the Fiend or like Uncle Howdy go any further, because I feel like they don't want it to go they don't want it to undermine what the Undertaker has done. Because if it's given full potential the way it deserves to give full potential, it could be like it could be like the next special thing. Like the Undertaker was a special thing. Like people race to WrestleMania to see the Undertaker even just enter the ring, just his presence. And I felt like with Uncle Howdy, we were getting close to there. And then again, like they just shut it down and put him back. Like, no, we're gonna do the Firefly House. So,
but they should let them have that.
I don't think they want to.
Generation have what we had.
I don't think they want to. They're still living for the Undertaker.
And I see your point, but I also feel like when it comes down to the Fiend and the Undertaker, there's really no fucking comparison.
Right.
At all. There's no comparison. And they need to get out of that fear like, oh, the Fiend is going to overshadow Undertaker. Because if we didn't have the Undertaker, we would have no Fiend. They can definitely go in two separate directions. We already seen the both of them fight each other at Mania when he was just Bray Wyatt, a part of the Wyatt family, and the Undertaker was the Undertaker. I love him to death, but he had a bad hip. Like, we've seen it. We've seen the Phenom and I don't know what Bray Wyatt other name was during that time while he was in the Wyatt family.
It was Bray Wyatt.
He was like Eater's Worlds or something like that. Like when he first started, right?
Eater Worlds, like we saw that. But now let them not mimic, but they can pull some stuff from what they did. Because if you realize, we don't have anybody really dark in this wrestling phase. We don't have a dark person. I mean, it would have been a Fiend, but now we don't have that. We have bubbly, we have cute, we have badass, we don't have anybody dark or cringy or somebody's just going to make your skin crawl. Like, we don't have that. So I feel like they should just try to do better with the Fiend.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with you on that one, and I hope they can work something out, because like you said, Krista, we all want to Bray Wyatt back. So I definitely hope they figure that out, because that's a talent.
And it's sad to see it like dwindle away like that.
It really is. So yeah, time to get into this week's fan club assignment. Wrestling Hills We're Willing to Die On.
It really came out with the blazer and all that.
Yeah. White blazer. So this tweet goes viral every now and again because wrestling fans have opinions. This is one of those shits. Everybody got an opinion about something. And there's some opinions that just drive people insane. And then it's like, you know what? That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel.
Hey, Dylan.
Hi, Dylan.
Hi, Dylan.
So, what are some wrestling hills y'all are willing to die on? I'll go first, actually, if y'all don't mind.
How many?
No, ma'am.
How many hills do we name? 3?
Let's just say 1 for now, and then if we have time, we'll do more. So I'm gonna get this out the way just because it went viral recently, and I will always defend the formerly Bella Twins as Hall of Famers. I think they 100% deserve to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. And I don't care what anyone really has to say about that. I think the WWE Hall of Fame is different than a wrestling Hall of Fame. And Nikki and Brie Garcia were Hall of Fame worthy WWE superstars, period. No one has done it like them. They paved the way for a lot of women in the industry. I wouldn't say every woman, but if any woman that wants to be in the WWE has been inspired a little bit by the Bella Twins, their mainstream appeal, we're still they're able to drop the Bella name and it doesn't hurt their success in the entertainment business. I think that says enough. People know who Dwayne Johnson is. You don't have to say The Rock. And there's not a lot of, women that have been able to make that transition. So they also produce their own reality. Like, it's, being a WWE superstar is not always about what's in the ring. And I'll go on my Bella tangent, but that is a wrestling hill that I am willing to fucking die on.
That was kind of my hill too. So now I gotta think of a new one. Thanks.
Oh, see, we always hear Krista.
Always.
Why y'all those wrestling girls?
Exactly. That's why it's Queen PR.
I love my girl.
Period.
So my wrestling hill that I am willing to die on is that the greatest WWE superstar, when you look at the embodiment of a WWE superstar, when you look at the full package, and when you see someone that you want to put on all the posters, the greatest WWE superstar is John Cena.
Oh, you know, we all thought she was gonna say your boy.
I was waiting.
Came up the club, but I was like, wait, these are.
I was waiting. So that's I was like, is this the night you get kicked out of the club? Because I was like, he's gonna say it.
Permanent kick.
He's gonna say it. Like, but I'm shocked.
And I agree with you. I don't think anyone. Is there anyone that would disagree with that?
Oh, a lot of people, because people get caught
He's
up
in
the
prototype,
the wrestling of it all, or
he who they want. It's who they want him, the next superstar, to be. Like, I'm sorry.
If you look at just body and like physique and characters and all that, to me, it's Randy Orton and The Rock, right? That's the person you insert if you're building a perfect WWE superstar.
True.
But when you look at what they've done, the person who will make you not wonder if you can sleep at night and that you can trust your company with, it's John Cena. You look at, he's not well until recently, but before, John Cena didn't go anywhere until he knew the WWE was in good hands. Let's be real.
That's
you
true.
know, when AJ Styles had his run, and he was like, okay, this is a guy that I can like really trust like that. You know what I mean? And then he was always willing to see the next guy up. Like, he knew, okay, it's Daniel Bryan's time. It's CM Punk's time. You know? So, yeah, to me, the greatest WWE superstar is John Cena.
Okay, P took my Bella Twins heel. I would say this. So one hill I would definitely die on, proudly die on. Out of all of the famous people and celebrities that we've had a chance of seeing from way back when up until now, to just like insert and interject themselves in wrestling, I'm definitely going to die on this hill, and I don't care what nobody says. Bad Bunny is the greatest wrestler, celebrity wrestler of all time.
Yes.
Okay, for you to like really take the time out to know what this world is like from a fan's perspective, as well as actually being in the ring, putting on an amazing performance at WrestleMania, to where Damian Priest was like, "Yo, what the like, yo, when you're tag team,
that moonsault pile driver will go on in history as the best execution of a moonsault pile driver that will ever be executed.
Yes.
Carry on, sis.
So when you have that, and then when you go on to sell out all, like when you cut a promo to be like, all right, you go and do this, Triple H talking about, you go and do this, and I'm gonna take this over here, and then you come back to end up in 2K23 to host Backlash in your hometown of Puerto Rico. What other celebrity has ever established or accomplished everything that Bad Bunny has accomplished in his short time in WWE? Don't worry, I'll wait. Okay, nobody. So with that being said, Bad Bunny is the best celebrity wrestler that has ever graced the squared circle. It's the hill I'm dying on.
You know, I think people are going to try to say like Logan Paul is like number 2. And the reason why, like, to me, I wouldn't put them in the same class is because of the demand that Bad Bunny has to deal with as far as his music career. And you see, like, for him to be able to have that, meet those demands and put in the time to become the greatest celebrity wrestler, that's just, that's insane.
Yeah, he even plugged it when he was doing carpool karaoke. Like, what's the name? Asked him, like, where does his love of wrestling? I'll send it to you because, do you have Apple TV?
No.
Well, I'll send it to you, the link. But he even asked him, like, they gave him a choice. They were like, oh, like, since you wrote the song Booker T, it all started when Booker T told them that he wrote a song about him. So they were like, okay, since you're a fan, let's capitalize. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to be a ring announcer? Do you want to do a commercial with us? Do you want to, like, be like a special guest referee? He goes, no, I want to wrestle. Like, for you to want it, like, it's a difference between being a fan and being a complete, like, living out your dream to reality. Like, he literally was like, oh, y'all want me to do that? No, like, why can't we take it full throttle? I'll train. I'll move to Florida. Like, he stayed in Florida for like a year.
A year, yep. And he
to train. Like that's not nothing. That's devotion.
If y'all watch his interview on The Shop, it was him,
right.
Jay-Z, LeBron James.
Jay-Z was talking about WWE.
I know. I was like, Jay-Z
every time.
I was like, the Brooklyn in me was like, ho.
I was like, oh, I can't help. You was paying attention.
Come on. Like, let's go to a show. You gonna rent out the suite, and we gonna eat off your dime. But come on, let's go to a show, ho.
Like, you cannot not like Benito. I'm sorry. Like, he just wins the heart of everybody. Like, to the point that people are salty that Harry Styles beat Beyonce, but they're not salty just because of that. They're salty because there are people that were like, all right, if Beyonce had lost the
battle, I would have been okay with
he would have been okay.
I would have been okay with Benito winning too.
Yeah,
like, you took it from both of them. Harry, we ain't fucking with you like
Puerto
that.
Rico at the opening of that damn show. Like, stop it. Stop it.
Yo, that was so good.
Had Taylor Swift dancing. Go ahead. Yeah. Don't leave Benito.
Listen, I'm about to call my Thea back in Puerto Rico. Like, hey Thea, I need a place to stay for May 6th because we
in there like swimwear.
Going out to Puerto Rico.
We already told the boss, we not going to be back for a while. This might be a 2-week vacation instead of a 3 because
I'm trying to get my job to pay for me. Okay. Pay for my flight. I got somewhere to stay. Pay for my
got my coworkers. They're like, "Where did you stay on the island?" They're like, "Oh, where are you going? Where's the arena?" All right. They're like, "Let me find out where we can do. If you need a house, because we're not going to just put you in any Airbnb. I got you. We're gonna figure this out.
Let me just borrow the car. It drives the same like it drives up here. I'm good. Let's go. Because at this point, you gotta call my Thea real quick. Like, hey,
I feel you. So, what's Justin? What's your wrestling hill?
Is it safe to talk now? I'm now that I'm fully recovered from that drive-by Seindole stunner.
One time, Justin, it ain't gonna happen again.
It probably will, but not tonight.
We're gonna refrain from doing it going forward.
I'm about to say, yeah, it's gonna happen again because that's how y'all be doing me. Wrestling hill I'm willing to die on. So when I think of greatest wrestlers of all time, are we talking accomplishments? We're talking title reigns. We're talking longevity. You're talking 5-star matches. If y'all want to do that Meltzer scale rating shit, I think of all of that plus impact. So when I think of the greatest women's wrestler of all time, some people, this has always been a divisive opinion because some people have certain people, number 1, number 2. To me, the wrestling I'm going to die on, Mercedes Moné is the greatest women's wrestler of all time.
Period.
You're talking about a woman whose impact she made before she turned 23. You have a resume that has Sasha Bailey Brooklyn and then running it back with the Iron Man match. You have her entire title run in NXT. And that's just one part of her legacy. Then you have the main roster stuff. First ever tag team champion, second ever to ever main event Raw, first ever to main event WWE pay-per-view, second both Iron Man matches with Bayley and with Charlotte. You go on her impact. You have generation of women who are getting into wrestling either as fans or want to be wrestlers because of her or because of like her matches. You have other wrestlers in other companies that have said, she's the number 1 woman I want to wrestle at some point. That's my dream match, or that's one of my dream matches. You look at just the impact. People have Charlotte, will probably say Charlotte's the best ever. People will probably say Becky Lynch is the best ever. People will probably say Bianca is going to surpass Sasha or Mercedes because her title reign right now is longer than all of Sasha's combined on the main roster. When you talk about the impact, and you've seen it now in New Japan, you're seeing it with her, with the IWGP Women's Championship, where she's going mainstream. She's starting to do things that no other woman has done, and she's only 31 years old. She's still got a lot more left to take if she wants to continue wrestling. Yeah, greatest of all time. I know on social media, very divisive. Some people really rock with her. Some people don't fuck with her. But that's the best ever. And there's no argument. There really is no argument. Charlotte can have the accolades. Becky and Bianca can have the longer title reigns. But it all comes back to one person. When you even ask the talent themselves, who do you want to wrestle? Who's your number 1? Who's your dream match? Mercedes Moné.
Mercedes Moné. Yep.
I'm here for that. What's your Seindole?
Well,
it's about to be a good one.
Well, I've given this much thought. I've given this much consideration. Yeah, I know I love the people that like to stir the pot and cause controversy. And I feel like with this person, it wouldn't be, when it came to deciding, it would not be right if I did not give this person their proper flowers. For them to dominate the industry the way that they've dominated the industry and not be the prototype, but still be a favorite, is always going to be impressive to me. Even with a title, without a title, they're still the talk of the room. No matter what company they go to, they're still talk of the room. I feel like Bryan Danielson deserves all the accolades.
Oh my gosh. So that was Andre's
all the Hall of Fame. Like, I will die. Like, I will give you guys my burial plot and give you the snips of my funeral to die on that hill. Because when you say the greatest of all time, he is the greatest of all time. Like, he's a GOAT.
Yeah.
Period. You go from the Indies series, you go to Japan, you come back to the US, you're back in the series, you take over Japan again, you come back, and they treat you like, and when I tell you, like I said, the second person I was going to say that adjusted very well from Indies to WWE superstar is him. It's him, period. Because no matter how bad, like, for you to make the Miz look good, first of all, he made the Miz look good as a heel, in my opinion, even with the NXT thing, because, like, not for nothing, I was like, I'm really fucking tired of you, Miz. Why are you treating him like that? Like, he's not just anybody small. He is a superstar just because he doesn't fit the prototype. And that's how you get the conversation going. You get to root. And that's why people always root for Stone Cold the way they root for Stone Cold, because he wasn't your typical WWE superstar back then even. But because he was like, well, fuck what you think and fuck what you heard, I am that guy. And I'm going to do whatever I want, however I want, when I'm going to do it. And y'all not going to say shit to me. If you say shit to me, I'm going to stun you. Bryan Danielson holding Raw captive the way that he did and made it the People show after. And if P remembers this is that same conversation we had when we were saying that for a long time creative was not listening to WWE and listening to what they want. WWE played that, and they played that with the right person. And no one thinks about that. But, like, when you think about it, they know when we talking shit on these podcasts. They know when people are talking shit on Reddit. They know that somebody was back there leaking matches because they were tired of WWE doing generic ass shit with their matches. So what did they do? They said, okay, y'all want to say that we're not hearing you? Okay, you want Daniel Bryan to be the money point? You know what we're going to do? We're going to do it, and we're going to make him have 2 matches. And his best WrestleMania ever was New Orleans. He comes back the second year and wins back the Intercontinental Championship. Like, you put him in a tag team with the tallest, most awkward man. Well, he's not awkward to me, but Kane is hilarious to me. You put him in a tag team with Kane. You put him in a tag team with Kane. He excels at that too. Like, come on, there's nothing that this guy can't do. And the fact that he's in AEW and he's back to his old roots in the Indies, he's wrestling the way he wants to. He's going against the way he wants to. The fact where he can't even say, I don't want the title. I'm just here to wrestle. Like,
right. And now he's going back to Ring of Honor.
And now he's going back to Ring of Honor. His roots.
Yeah, he's going
his roots. Like, this man has dominated every single indie promotion there is out there. He's done everything you've wanted your favorite wrestlers to do. He's just the greatest of all time.
They shit on him.
But he proves them wrong and shits right back on them. Like, he takes the tissue and wipes it and throws it back in their face. That's what he do. And all respect to him. Love him. I can't wait to watching him. It was funny because we didn't get a chance to see him. Did he wrestle in Newark? We didn't get a chance to see that. But we didn't see that Full Gear, did we?
What?
No, it wasn't that Full Gear when we were in Newark. But I want to see him wrestle one last time.
No, I feel like I did the yes chant.
No, he was there. He was
there. He was talking.
He wrestled in the triple threat match.
Oh yes.
Right.
The fatal 4-way.
For the fatal 4-way. He did. But
yeah, I need to see Daniel Bryan wrestle.
I need to see him again.
Yeah.
I need to see it one last time.
I've said this on Fan Club before. If not for Daniel Bryan, no one on Wrestle Twitter knows who I am, because WrestleMania 30 is what brought me back into wrestling. Watching Daniel Bryan wrestle twice in one night, that's what got me back into, okay, let me actually give this shit a chance again after many years away.
A lot of people started giving it a chance.
Yeah, and I feel like with Daniel Bryan, especially Word of Occupy Raw, like, yeah, he had everybody come from the audience do so, but then you also had workhorses like the Shield protect him. Like at that point, it was, if you wanted to recreate anything, Daniel Bryan was Mankind and the Shield was DX when they helped Mankind win that championship belt.
Yes,
that's who they were. And Triple H and Stephanie and the Authority was the corporation. Talk about regurgitated in good ways. That was that.
It's funny that Triple H was DX and now he's like the Authority. It was like a full circle moment.
When you got an Authority figure versus the the Rebel, that's when wrestling's good. That's what made ROH Must See TV in 2012 when you had Kevin Steen going against Jim Cornette, because it literally put you in that mindset.
Yeah. One of my favorite Bryan Daniel eras is when he was a heel, when he was a Planet champion. That shit.
Really
if it wasn't for that, like Kofi, I feel like Kofi Mania would have never been as entertaining if it was with anybody else. I don't know if it's just me. I felt like him and Daniel Bryan were like perfect in that sense, because like Daniel Bryan knows what it's like when people don't believe in you, but now he's an asshole, and now he's like, listen, I went through it. I don't give a goddamn what you going through. You still don't deserve this shit, no matter what. I think you don't deserve it now. So that in itself too was full circle moment. And their match was like high octane.
Fickle.
Yo, their match at Mania 35.
Shout out to P, because that was the first time I went to a wrestling viewing party. Was watching him win, and the place was lit.
Like that was so good.
Yeah, that belt
was so good.
Beautiful.
But tap into when Seindole mentioned the GOAT. What Dylan said about Daniel Bryan being the GOAT. I believe he also said something about Roman Reigns and not have to beat Undertaker at 33. And
we can get into his.
Let's get into it. Did not.
All right. So Dylan,
I hate it. Like that's one of the matches that I cannot watch ever in life. Like that's up there with the I Quit match, and I think I'm gonna be a big girl and watch that I Quit match again. 9-year-old me, you gonna have to sit down.
No, I had to sit down and put my big girl panties on and watch that whole Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker, and just remember how pissed I was going to work the next day. I was like, this motherfucker thinks it's appropriate for him to be fucking part-time. It's not a fact that you fucking part-time. You part-time and you come beat the fucking Undertaker. Mind you, I was like already on big, because this is when I was like big on CM Punk, and I'm like, so you didn't give it to CM Punk last year. You could have gave it to him, because that whole build was perfect. You give it to this motherfucker who comes back. I was pissed. People couldn't understand why I was so pissed. And then Charlemagne backs me up. And it goes, he gave him the donkey of the day. And I was like, see, somebody gets it. And everybody was like, you're too literal into this. It's just wrestling. I'm like, it's not just wrestling.
Sometimes you have to be literal in these situations, because it has to make sense.
Exactly.
Like, it would have been amazing, right? If Roman and Undertaker would have put on a bomb ass match to where, it was like the big dog. They were trying to figure out who was the big dog, whose yard it is, and Roman was doing a build up, and then Pee Wee was there at that Raw before Mania where under the lights went out, Undertaker came out and he stopped whomever he stopped, and then he realized, like, after he knocked whoever, I forgot who was in the ring with Roman, but after he knocked that person over the ropes, he kind of like winced and was like, fuck, like now I gotta face Roman. I think he hit him with a spear. Undertaker was not in the best of shape.
He wasn't.
He was not in the best of shape. He needed a hip replacement. We knew that he had lingering pains in his legs. We knew because this match was not going to be up to par. And I salute Roman for trying to keep it and make it to what it is, because you can tell the hurt in Roman's eyes.
When he sat down in the back.
Like when he sat down in the back and was just like, yo, what the fuck? And then it was like a dead silence watching Undertaker in that ring lose like that. It was so
crazy. And it's crazy.
So I was there, right? And
we know, Brian, we know.
No, I'm gonna paint the story. I know you ain't talking.
Tell someone who's there.
But so I always felt I agree with Dylan halfway. Brock shouldn't have been the person, even though you listen to like Taker. I just listened to his interview with Ariel Helwani, and he said it was more like, well, if not Brock, then who? Because there was no forethought. You got to remember, like at WrestleMania 30, the Shield was coming up, but they were still together, right? And at that point, it was still like everybody thought it was gonna be Ambrose, even though WWE knew Roman was gonna be their guy, right? I think that
I feel like it should have been Ambrose. No shade.
Hell no.
No, but if him, I don't think so.
So if I agree with that. He don't deserve 2 strokes on the record. I think if it should have been Roman, especially considering now, even take away the tribal chief stuff. We knew Roman was going to be the next guy, right? We love the tribal chief, but Roman's merch was still going crazy. Children loving Roman. So he was still a top babyface, regardless of the internet booing him. And I feel like that moment there, people was crying. You could see grown men and grown women literally in tears.
Because it was like the death of their hero in the sense.
And look, this is how good like WWE is. They run a video package during the time when Undertaker's getting back in the ring, putting everything on. So when he took off all the hat and everything, that would everybody signify, and you saw people literally leaving like, we just watched the Undertaker's last match. Now, granted, that wasn't the case, but I think that's where he should have lost.
Controversial take. Brock Lesnar was the right person to beat Undertaker. Here's why. Because again, this is my first WrestleMania watching again. When I started watching wrestling, it was 91. That was the birth of the Undertaker streak at WrestleMania 7. So I watched the genesis of the Undertaker and this whole streak and where it began, where he beat Jimmy Superfly Snuka. And now here I am watching wrestling again, first time in like years, and now it's Brock Lesnar. I know Brock Lesnar from UFC. Undertaker, I was like, wait, he still got the streak going? I remember what I was doing that night, because when Brock pinned him, that's the first time I've ever seen wrestling break the internet. Where like even people that weren't watching WrestleMania were fucking like, wait, streak's over? And then when you saw, what was it, 21-1, and you just heard the fucking Superdome just hit like an eruption of like stun, what the fuck? What the hell's going on, this and that, and then you're watching the internet just break. Like, I feel bad for the women, because like I know the women had to follow that, and no one was talking about that, because that was whole thank you Taker, streaks broken, ESPN's breaking this news, this news outlets were breaking this news. It was a huge fucking deal, and yes, it's because of Brock Lesnar, this part-timer. You saw Seindole's reaction to it. That's exactly the reaction that a lot of people felt, and then you see what Brock did with that. And this is why I support that, because Brock goes on, beats the living fuck out of John Cena in one of the greatest SummerSlam matches of all time. This is when I hated Cena. So to watch
shout out to Cena for making the moment.
Mercifully beat that man into a pulp and take
with
his
no
shit.
respect.
I've never seen anyone get dominated like that. So to watch Brock do that and take the title, it was like, wait, that's the match? And then you see what Brock did with that, where he was putting on great match after great match. They ran back to Taker stuff. You get the triple threat at Royal Rumble with Cena and Seth Rollins, one of the best Royal Rumble title matches of all time. You get WrestleMania 31, Roman and Brock. That's one of the best Roman Brock matches of all time. And it catapults Brock to be fucking Thanos. And him being Undertaker was Thanos taking out fucking Hulk and being like, yeah, I just did your shit. Here's your boy. This is your man. So him being Taker catapults him to like, oh shit, we got to take Brock serious. And then Brock becomes champion. Brock becomes that final boss that everyone has to catch up to. And you see Seth can't do it yet. You see Taker try to do it, can't do it. You see Cena try to do it, can't do it. Roman, his first time out, can't do it. And Brock becomes that guy to where years on, Brock becomes that final boss for 32 and 33 and 34 and so on and so forth. So because it catapults Brock to a different level, and then the fact that it was exactly what Vince wanted. How do you really break the streak? You could have gave it to Punk. Is it going to get that same reaction?
No.
Could have gave it to Roman. No. Is it going to get that same reaction? But you got Brock, who's fresh in people's minds, and also coming off a UFC stint where, you know, dude was a heavyweight champion and shit like that. So Brock being streak, right decision.
It makes sense that Brock would have been the one to break the streak. However, how it went down on a performance level,
because y'all have to
a little bit.
If you watch the documentary, you start to, if you do the math, Undertaker had not been right since him and Triple H at WrestleMania the first time. That's when his health started really taking a downward spiral. You see that he didn't even want to do. They didn't want to do a Hell. They didn't want to do Hell in a Cell again. Like Triple H was very much like, I don't want to do this because we see how you're conditioning. You're not in shape. You're not in WrestleMania shape, and this is not even like a coworker talking to a coworker. They're friends.
Yeah, best friends.
They're friends. Like I'm telling you, as your friend, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And ignoring what take Vince out of the equation, because Vince is Vince. Whatever looks good on paper is gonna look good on paper. He loved his Undertaker. He loved the Undertaker, but like you have people telling him, like, yo, his wife even goes on record saying it was hard for him to bounce back after that match because that's when we started realizing everything was declining. Like everything. So like even if it was like you had to do WrestleMania, you have to defend the streak. It feels like an unfair advantage because you have Brock. Brock has what? Only 2 issues that Brock has, we know on UFC record. His arm and his stomach. He has stomach issues. He can't take a hard punch to the left because he has diverticulitis. Thank you. So that's the only thing we know him. But like if you really look at Taker, he wasn't in the best shape. Yes, he was in good fighting shape to last. And then like when you think about him and CM Punk, they unintentionally accidentally went over. They went over their match. He wasn't supposed to be in the ring that long. CM Punk, if anything, too, was even though he wasn't he wasn't like the youngest, he wasn't like Austin Theory young. He's still young in his career. He can go all night. He can do the same things. His health issues didn't happen till like later when he left because of all the surgeries he had to have from being botched and stuff. But like no, like Undertaker had not been right. We're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You haven't been right. And now you're going up against one of the strongest people that can ever step in a ring with you. We get the momentum is a big thing, but if we're going to say that Brock Lesnar was the right person to do it, you also have to consider the fact that maybe they were slowly trying to take the time to say, okay, Undertaker, that's it. Like you only have a few of these matches under your belt. That should have really been it. Roman should, and I understand he wanted to have that match with AJ Styles because we needed, like WrestleMania needed it at the time. We didn't know the pandemic was going to happen. Like you needed the Undertaker to have that match to make WrestleMania interesting. Really, Brock Lesnar should have been it. Should have been it.
Yeah,
and I'm happy he didn't retire after Roman because my first WrestleMania I attended was 34, and that was the one where everyone was like, "Why are you wrestling? Roman should have been in." It's like because I get to finally see a fucking Undertaker entrance at WrestleMania, so. All y'all was saying, y'all could kiss my ass. I love that moment. I love the fact that that match was 5 minutes. Even though Undertaker recently just came out, I was prepared to wrestle 45 minutes. Like, nah, I'm glad that was a spread. I'm glad you gave us the hits. I'm glad that was 1, 2, 3. Match was done in 5 minutes. I got my entrance. That's all I needed.
Yeah, I've never seen an Undertaker wrestle like a WrestleMania entrance. Like 35, he wasn't there.
Exactly. That's the thing. Some people don't get to experience that. Where
I'm lying. I saw him at Texas last year. He had an entrance. Never mind.
TED Talk Taker.
Yeah, we saw. Yeah,
Mega Church Taker.
We had TED Talk Taker. That was like the best thing I had.
Like, I definitely want to go into the other, Wrestling Hills. So let's go to some other ones. I definitely want to bring this one up.
Crying.
Shawn Michaels was a better all-around performer than Bret Hart. Bless
your heart, Omar. You know you're wrong, but bless your heart for thinking those things.
Okay. And
I'm about to get kicked out the club for this.
Yeah, me too. We on the same page. And what
I agree.
Are we talking about like technicalities, like technical wrestling? Are we talking about like endurance wise? Like, what are we talking about? Because these two are in 2 different categories. Like, they are great. They're Hall of Famers for a reason. When it comes to technical skills and technicality, Bret Hart has it.
Right.
When it comes to like endurance and entertainment and all the other fly shit that you do in the ring, you got to give it to Shawn. So what are we talking about?
Because
unfold your arms, stop doing the dad.
So it goes back to what I was saying, kind of like some people are better superstars than they are wrestlers. I feel like Bret was definitely more of the wrestler because of his lineage, because of his dad, the Hart Foundation. And I feel like HBK was kind of just like bred to do both. And he was like, look, like the spunk that he had when he was young, and then, you know, even the barbershop scene, he was kind of bred to be a superstar. Bret was kind of more on the mark of like, okay, I'm in WWE to show you what real wrestling looks like. And I think that's where their differences always made their feud even more fueled, because like Bret Hart wasn't here for the superstar shit. Like later on, yes, because they started treating him like a big deal. He's appearing on The Simpsons. He's doing like appearances. Like he's getting the superstar treatment because he's seeing like, okay, if I'm going fit into WWE, I need to learn how to do both. Like, I'm not doing I'm not doing fucking Playgirl. You can kiss my ass with that. I got a family, but I'm going to get as much treatment or equal treatment as such. I feel like that I agree with Vaughn. Shawn had more the charisma. Bret was more of like the technical, and I'm going to talk my shit and back it up.
Charisma is underrated because
he was an asshole.
Shawn Michaels,
but like
because he's known for his technical.
Exactly.
That's just my opinion, because I've been watching a lot of Bret content, and I feel like he has charisma.
But he didn't get a chance to display it in the ring. He didn't get a chance. He didn't get a chance.
Bless your hearts for being incorrect and defending the cross-eyed super kicking bandit that is Shawn Michaels.
No, but like, oh my god! But okay, let me be for real. In my fair opinion, the best match that Bret had was against his own brother, and that's because
Owen put him over.
Oh, exactly. Owen. But can you
Owen
really
was the better of the two?
What match? Give me a match for
that match.
You think that's better than Bret and Shawn WrestleMania the Double Turn, which is still the greatest WrestleMania match ever?
I think Owen was a better wrestler than Bret, and that's the hill I'm
But Owen didn't lead the match though.
What?
Owen didn't lead that match. Bret led the match.
Right, he didn't put him over. I'm sorry, but Owen is definitely the better wrestler than Bret.
Definitely.
I think everybody says that because Owen's dead most of the time.
No, whoa!
I do. Because all this love for Owen Hart was not around in '99. He was an annoying little nugget. But
did
when
you know
Owen
me
died,
did you know me then?
I'm talking about general. I say general, but this is the
we're
general
not talking about general.
We're not talking about general. We talk about what I said. I've always loved Owen Hart. Always, like from the very beginning. Blue Blazer Corporation. I mean, not corporation.
Nation of Domination.
Nation of Domination.
Or Nation.
Hart Foundation. I've always loved. Owen Hart was always my favorite. Dead or alive, Owen Hart was always my favorite. I always felt like Owen was the better wrestler than Bret, and I also probably can say that because by the time Owen was like catching his climb, Bret was already gone, and I was not watching WCW. So that's probably why I feel that way.
Well, here's the thing about Bret that they always say. First of all, I was trying to check the Twitter to see when that person was born, because I really have a thing. I don't really argue Bret versus Shawn with people born after 91, 92.
Because I wasn't born until 89. I didn't get a chance to watch that.
No, but here's the thing.
And I just started watching everything from the 1990s back to the 1980s. I think that's unfair to say that.
It might be.
No, there's some validity to that, but go ahead, Brian.
I think so too.
When you look at Bret Hart, right, there's a reason that the WWE went with him. Bret Hart was an international superstar as well as an American superstar. Everybody couldn't do the same thing. You know, I remember there was Bret Hart figures, there was Bret Hart toys. He was the cover on all of the video games, right? Bret Hart walked, so you crawled so Shawn could walk. No doubt about it. Bret Hart set the tone for Shawn Michaels. So everybody always tries to say that, oh, Bret didn't have charisma or he didn't have that much charisma. The bottom line is they are two different generations.
Right, but here's my thing.
Hold on, not finished. Shawn Michaels was more attitude and brass, and that's what worked. Bret Hart, when you look at 97 Bret Hart, he showed, even though he probably didn't want to, he could go there. But when the business was struggling, the numbers were actually better when Bret was on top than when Shawn was on top in 96. If we really want to go there, you know, because when Bret had to fight against the steroid trial, Vince couldn't just you look at the roster, there was other good wrestlers, but you needed a superstar. He wasn't going to go with Ric Flair. Ric Flair was older. He wasn't going to go with Macho Man. He had to go with Bret Hart. He went with a youth movement. He went with a guy who did have charisma, and I guarantee you, if it wasn't for the Montreal Screwjob, in every video, every package, WWE would classify Bret Hart as the #1 superstar, not Shawn Michaels.
It's substance, it's style. Some people love substance. You know, we want the food to be great. We want the food to be technical. We want the food to be this and that. Some people, we want the flash. We want the pizzazz. We want the high-flying swanton moons coming from Jesus up off the heavens and stuff like that. Like, it just depends on what's your flavor of wrestling. And that's where a lot of people gravitate to Shawn, because Shawn is a lot more flashier. But then the problem is they also downplay Bret and be like, well, he was boring, or he's this and that. It's like, no, you're putting him down because you really love this guy so much. You're putting blinders onto this. And then vice versa, where like Bret's more technical. Bret's more like, I care about the A, B, C through Z. Where Shawn's like, no
one is downplaying Bret. Let's just get that out the way. No one on this.
No one here, but I have seen that on social media. That's the thing, is I have seen this where that is a thing. No one here that was doing that.
I just feel like, for me personally, I've watched Bret matches, and
Vaughn.
I'm never
forget about that version of Owen Hart.
Oh wow, not Coco. Wow.
Damn,
with the jumping pajamas, you know.
Shout out to Coco.
Him and Jim Neidhart.
Yeah, for me,
them checkered pants and shit.
I'm never taking anything from Bret Hart. I'm never taking anything away from Bret Hart, because Bret Hart is definitely
Bret's name.
Oh, all right. Brian got to go cry in the corner, y'all. Anyway, I'm never taking anything from Bret Hart, what he does, and like he definitely paved the way. And he's definitely one of the best technical wrestlers, because if it wasn't for him, half of the technical
we were there when you bought it. We don't need to see it. Put it on
and start crying in the corner. Favorite wrestlers are Bret Hogan.
I got my Bret here too.
There you go. Bret Hogan or Hulk Hitman. That's how it goes.
Right, I'm logging out. He mentioned the thing we're not supposed to mention.
One was on the Simpsons. The other lost his smile.
Ooh. Yeah, like that was definitely one of them names. Like, you really wanted to be him. You saw him everywhere. I do remember that Simpsons episode. He came in with the glasses and all that. I remember that. Yep. I remember I wanted a pair of Bret glasses because they were pink. Bret, if you're watching this, can I please still have a pair of glasses?
And he was cool to
no, because you put Shawn over. Credit. No glasses for you.
First of all, Justin,
I said what I said. Go.
What I said was, when it came down to the technical style of wrestling, the technicality of wrestling and of the arts, it's definitely Bret over Shawn. But when it comes to the entertainment and the flashiness and the different styles of wrestling, like comparing or adding entertainment into the wrestling, it's definitely Shawn. I'm never taking anything from Bret Hart, because Bret Hart, as he says, is the best. Was Brian
the best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will
be. And I agree with him on that. I stand with him on that. But because of the fact that I was introduced to Shawn Michaels via Attitude Era, yes, I'm always going to put Shawn Michaels above Bret Hart due to the entertainment standpoint that was introduced to. That Shawn Michaels introduced to us as an audience and as viewers. So please get off of me. Thank you.
I do.
But this goes back to Brian's point that we were talking about earlier, which is this is why we're asking the age of who's saying these things, because the people who are younger are gravitating more towards Shawn, because Shawn was more around for the Attitude Era and stuff like that. Versus I am older. I remember when Bret was in a tag team before he went singles. Yeah, and Shawn was doing his rocker shit with Marty. So I have more history with Bret compared to people who are younger that's like got more history with Shawn. That's where we ask the age part.
Right. But see, it's valid too. And I also think that they say Shawn is better because he was able to come back at his best. And I think Bret never had that opportunity.
And that's the unfair thing.
Another leg of his career. To perform at his best, because depending on how old you are, you've seen Shawn Michaels wrestle, because when did he retire? What, 2008 or something?
One's wrestling at 26.
So a lot of people got to see him, like younger people got to see Shawn Michaels at his best. A lot of people didn't get to see Bret Hart at his best, unfortunately, because if you watched him in WCW, it kind of sucked, let's be real. And when he did come back to WWE, it definitely felt like, he wasn't obviously at his best. So I think that's why another thing, like Bret doesn't get, the love that I feel like he deserves. And you had to be there. You had to be there with the Bret Hart Roz.
It's like a joke. Like you had to be there to get it.
Right.
That's what it is for Bret. That's what it is.
Yeah, I ain't arguing old people over Harley Race.
Who what?
I said I'm not arguing older people over Harley Race or Dusty Rhodes, you know.
Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes,
I like that one.
Another.
I like that.
Lisa.
Good one.
Victoria. So I think Victoria is extremely criminally underrated.
Because I was about to say, who the hell is Lisa Marie? Okay, Victoria, got it.
Widow's Peak is still like one of the moves that I always felt was like the most devastating move, because I'm like, how do you take it? Like it just looks like a shoot. And that's what always like made me, I ain't like her, because she came in and she beat up Trish. I was like, no, I don't like her. But
I actually like that. I quite enjoyed that when that happened. I quite enjoyed that. Sorry.
Like, who is this lady?
I know I'm not the only one.
Yo, he said, who is this lady?
Get her off my TV.
Yo, yeah, I like Victoria, like going back and watching, like when I was rewatching it on the WWE.
Her theme song was lit.
Like she really made me cringe. Like her when Stevie Richards and Perez up for Stevie Richards
had
surgery. But she really creeped me out. Like I'm like, yo, is this bitch really crazy? Like, is she really batshit crazy to where she's doing all these things? And then like, if you ever watch the back of the Titantron when it used to be in the ring, like in the thing, she had this hand. And it had an eye in the middle of the palm of her hand.
Yes.
And me, I have trypophobia, so I cannot watch anything like that's really like clusters and stuff. So me with eyes, I can't do it. Like every time God rest his soul, Luke Harper would come out and I'll be at a show, I would dead not look. I couldn't.
When she used to come out and she used to race out and she used to look around like this, like it used to give me who I'm gonna fuck up in this ring tonight.
Yeah.
But listen, she used to get into a moment like I was like, oh my god, like I just
this is gonna be good.
They talking about Stacy Keibler, like no, why do y'all not put her in Hall of Fame? Like where her? Like come on now, like it's about time, bro. She's not involved in any lawsuits.
Her story from behind the scenes is the one I would really love to
right.
Yeah, because I really feel like
I know at one point she owned a restaurant and she was badass in real life because she found out her husband was cheating on her. So she sent the business card, the partners, her restaurant, like the fact that she was like, oh, I'm gonna buy my husband out because he's cheating on me, and then she sold the restaurant and took all the money, like badass, like all around. She used to own a pizza restaurant in Chicago. With her husband. It used to be like wrestling themed food. She used to sell JR's barbecue sauce. She had like a barbecue chicken with his barbecue sauce on it.
I heard barbecue sauce is really good too.
Me too.
Nah, that barbecue sauce is lit.
Like he got ketchups now. He got a Mexican barbecue sauce that's on fire. It pissed me off because Stop and Shop used to sell it and they stopped. So now I'm gonna have to try and find it, but they did that. Yeah, I got into the right business with that one. I'm gonna just say that. Yeah, I know I love food, so. Nice. That's so true.
I agree with that. You want to talk about P? I said, there are any other Wrestling Hill comments that you would like to talk about?
Yeah, so Rakarsha's Wrestling Hill. I'm trying to find it because the comments is on fleek right now.
What?
But she says, yeah, she says that Jazz, China, Melina deserve to be in the Women's Wrestling Hall of Fame.
1,000%.
WWE Hall of Fame.
1,000%.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. China needs to be there by herself.
And then if they're not gonna give it to Jazz anytime soon, because I understand politics. Like hopefully Triple H is in his "I'm gonna let this shit go" mood, seeing as we're seeing a lot more of China. But if you could just let Melina at least get in there, like I feel like she never really she was really an all around wrestler. Another woman that grew from a valet to a wrestler, and she did the fucking thing.
This year would be perfect for her.
This year would be perfect for her. And then I like her comment. She kind of brought it full circle when she was asked about the Revolution, and she was like, "What do you think about the Revolution start?" And she was like, "Well, I feel like the Revolution really started with me. Like they were trying to tell me I couldn't wrestle. They were trying to tell like people like Tori Wilson couldn't wrestle. They were trying to tell people like," and then she was like, "Well, look at Tori Wilson and look at me and look at all these women that were like just trying to shoot like to say we need time instead of getting these 5-minute matches. Like even with Candace, she put all the women that worked with her on this high pedestal, and I'm just like, that's respect. Like, so I feel like she definitely deserved. We're gonna forget about that. Men be doing shady shit in women's wrestling. That's the one thing I can't stand. That's the hill I'm gonna die on. Like the day that they actually give shit to a man for doing things with women in the back room for the shit they gave women to, that's the day that I will fully put like all my stocks into WWE, because it's just a hypocritical thing. Like, mind you, Edge cheated on his wife, Lita gets the shit for it. Batista cheats on his wife, Melina gets the shit for it. It's stupid.
Wait, Edge was married during the time of him and Lita?
He was. He was fully married.
I thought Beth Phoenix was
yes, he was married to Val Venus.
Because they talked about it in '99, like they had a match and they said he's going to marry his sister this week or something like that. I remember that.
Yeah, he was married to Val Venus' sister. Mind you, they gave him the biggest push in his fucking career.
They don't want to make Edge look too bad.
Yeah, they gave Edge the biggest push in his career.
They don't mention that he was
same thing with Batista. Batista was in that whole thing with I think they were trying to make, was it around the time they were trying to make John Morrison? They were trying to make John Morrison a full-time singles competitor because they were done with Joey because he was doing all the drugs and shit. And then Joey was still in a full-blown relationship with John Morrison, was in a full-blown relationship with her, and he was still married to his wife, and they had sex. But Melina got the brunt of it. Melina was off TV for like a year.
But that's what also prevented Morrison, because the rumors was that Vince was like, "Oh, he can't even fight. I'm not having him as my champion."
Right.
Hence why I said people should be the John Morrison. Well, clearly he ain't
very athletic. Sorry.
He didn't. Yeah, because that's what Val Venus went on a rant when he stiffed Trish at WrestleMania 27. He was like, everybody knew what was going on, but you was like, it's okay, it's all right. That's the reason why you called him all types of names in the book.
Yeah, it's just that shit is old too. Like, cut that shit out. Like I'm sorry, most male wrestlers are hoes.
100%,
1000% thoughts, and be worried about the female and calling them ring rats. That shit is old. Kill that.
Macho Man said, "Keep your girl in the locker room, and nobody want to listen to him."
All right, Macho Man.
He told DDP that. What did DDP do? Him and Kimberly, and now look.
Yeah, so I feel like Melina, I just said Victoria. I feel like Lisa definitely deserves it. I hope that one day too. I'm gonna add Mickie James to that.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. I think this would be a good time. Well, she's still kind of. I mean, yeah,
I think they'll allow it.
Do it, yeah.
I mean, they already putting the Great Muta in the Hall of Fame this year, and he's what I saw, like the title was WWE's entering Forbidden Door star in WWE Hall of Fame. So if they can do that, they can put Mickie James in the Hall of Fame. They can put Victoria in the Hall of Fame because they definitely wrestle in other promotions. They could put Jazz in there. But what I did see, P, and I don't know if you saw this, I saw that Alundra Blaze wants to have her final match in WWE at WrestleMania.
I feel like she deserves it. Give it to her.
Does she have an opponent in mind, or just right now, in general?
I'm gonna and this is gonna sound wild, but Alundra Blaze isn't over in WWE right now.
She's not.
I was there at Raw when she came out, and there was zero reaction.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, she came out. Her and who else came out? For Raw 30. I want to say Ted DiBiase. And Ted DiBiase got a pop, and then Alundra Blaze came out, and it was
Ted DiBiase.
Wait, where was Raw 30 at?
In Philly.
Oh yeah, I wasn't there for that, but I watched it on TV. Yeah. She
we love. Don't get me wrong, we love Alundra Blaze.
She is a friend of the program,
part of our family. I just feel like maybe like I just feel like there's a better venue for the moment Alundra Blaze wants.
Right.
We need more build up. We need the docuseries around her.
And we need that WWE storytelling. We need that video package. We need that video package.
Really run on her. Like, to be honest, I remember when they said that they announced that she was going to be in Hall of Fame.
And Gargano.
Right. I remember when they announced that she was going to be in Hall of Fame, and I remember the Bella twins at the time, that was their names, was talking about, First of all, it threw me off because they said Alundra Blaze, and then Nikki Bella goes off and say Medusa. I'm gonna say, who? Wait, hold on. Like, did they fuck up? Like, who's Medusa? Because they said Alundra Blaze. That was one. And then two, when they did a little vignette on her and her career, of course, the only thing that surrounded her was her going on WCW and throwing the belt in the trash can. So at this point, we still really, for those who didn't watch wrestling up until 96, 97, we still didn't know who Alundra Blaze was. We still didn't know what her impact was. We still didn't know the pave that she led. We still didn't know about her and all these other women wrestlers. We didn't know about her feud with Bull Nakano. We didn't know any of this.
I got the perfect comparison. If you remember, I want to say it was Raw 25.
We were there. That was in Brooklyn.
You remember who got a big pop that night that shocked everybody?
Besides Austin?
Brother Love. You know
Brother
why?
Love did get a big pop.
You know why though? Because of the podcast.
It was also with Undertaker. He was also with Undertaker.
No, he wouldn't. Trust me. I personally don't believe most of the audience would have remembered that because you always associated Undertaker with Paul Bearer, right? If it wasn't for the podcast and him getting over on the IWC the way he did, he doesn't get that pop. And therefore, at WrestleMania 32 during the Hall of Fame, they don't buy, the rights to put it on the WWE network. I think if Alundra Blaze had something that really stuck with the internet, then she would get that pop, and God knows we don't need more
how you get in touch with like the younger fans, like the 20-year-old and the 25-year-old, because Something to Wrestle With was extremely popular before Bruce went back to WWE. Like it literally gave him like a whole nother wrestling career and probably like helped, I think, get him back into WWE, to be honest, because he was able to like get popular. And I forgot about Brother Love, to be honest with you. But then I listened to the show and I hear it and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like my dad, he remembers Brother Love, but like
that's one of my mother's like favorite characters. But nobody wouldn't have known, but because of that podcast, it put him over. And I think like just thought of this. Like you imagine if Mercedes and Medusa had a podcast together. And because she would be asking the questions as fans and be able to pull out the information people want to know, and then boom, they go to a whole new level.
That's good. Ooh, that's good. Write that down, Justin. Write that down.
Right?
We're gonna have to pick
can we get into this podcast?
Thank you. And I'm a Bryan Danielson fan, and he's my favorite, and I agree with this.
Hold on,
I 100% agree.
Hold on.
Oh, we already know that Miz is definitely
of greats, right along with Bryan Danielson. All right, Bruce.
Different levels. Miz is. So when I said that Bryan Danielson was a GOAT, Bryan Danielson is a worldwide GOAT. Like when I see the Miz go to Japan, then I could say, okay, they're on the same level. Miz is great as far as what a WWE superstar should have been, well-rounded all the way around. Like he's the top guy. He's the guy you can put on a reality show and excel and bring that attention back to WWE. He's the guy that can cut a promo and you can tell it's from the heart because he's passionate about the business. He's a guy that will not only put himself over, but will put other people over as far as making himself look good and making the content look great for WWE. So all those things make him WWE great. They do not make him externally great other than that.
Here's the thing,
Bryan Danielson.
Oh, sorry. Wait for you to finish.
The reason why I say he's a GOAT is because he's all around. He's been around the world and back. The Miz, I feel like, he sits in that conversation of greats, but he's only great in the WWE and in reality TV. He was great. He's great as a person overall. As a WWE talent, yes. As a wrestler, yes. But they're definitely two different levels to that.
He whines too much for me, and I can't take it.
Not the winning part. It's just the fact that like he's built.
No, I said whines, not win. He
whines. I feel like it's justified.
He's a baby bitch boy, and I can't take it.
No, I feel like it's justified because he went through a lot to get to where he is today.
But that's his character.
Here's the thing, though. As much as people may not want to admit, WWE is bigger than wrestling.
Right.
So because WWE is bigger than wrestling, yes, Miz belongs. He don't have to step foot out of WWE. Miz is more over than Kenny Omega.
Hollywood.
As far
but it's
as
different.
a megastar. He's more over than Kenny Omega and Okada.
100%.
Right.
That's
You
true,
know,
because
so
a lot
that's
of
the
people
reason
don't
why
watch
he
them
belongs
in Japan and AEW, whatever, but they watch The Miz. And I've followed The Miz since Real World. Like, I used to be a Real World fan. Like, you couldn't tell me about Chicago, New York.
It's still one of the 5 best seasons ever.
Right. Like, I watched The Miz and I'm like, oh, he wants to be in WWE. Like, he wants to be a wrestler. I love that. But then I feel like because when he got to WWE, like, boom, checkpoint. He manifested, he documented, they saw it, he trained, he did everything he's supposed to do. But then as time started to go on, I get voicing your frustrations and I get doing shit to appease the masses, but then also doing shit to stand your ground. And I applaud him for doing that. It just got to a point to where I'm just like, yo, like, you're really irritating the fuck out of me at this moment. Like that time when he literally tried to take over Raw as well, or SmackDown as well, with the "What about me?" and da 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 da. When it was like him and Daniel Bryan,
that was
like,
great.
That was brilliant. Yeah,
like,
that's the reaction. That's what he wanted to get from you. Yeah, exactly.
I guess him and Dominic does their thing, because the way I will beat Dominic's ass if I saw him in person
after he was taking the yard with the other chulos.
Yo, I got people locked up too. And mine is more thorough than yours.
Yo, I think The Miz.
Well, you ain't go to the jail that Dom went to.
No, I think him taunting his dad is the best thing. I think the way that Miz would piss some people off, the same way that Dominic is putting in his work by pissing everybody off by how he's treating his dad, is exactly how it's supposed to go. We don't want to like Dominic. We get into this gray area. You get into this gray area because you're entertained by his whole chulo talk and how he was in solitary confinement for 1 second to use the bathroom. Like, you get caught up in that. But then you forget, like, this is the same unappreciative dickhead that a few years ago we were like, his father was going to bat with him against Eddie because Eddie was saying that he was really his poppy, and he's using it against his own dad today. You're supposed to be pissed off with him. Like, you're supposed to be pissed off with him and Rhea doing their shit. You're supposed to get the reaction that Michael Cole's gonna, like, somebody need to go in there and beat her ass. You're supposed to get that. And that's what the Miz
is giving me. JR reaction
can go anywhere. The Miz can literally go anywhere. Any feud that you can stick
right.
Situation against a face or a good guy, and he's gonna get over. He's gonna get the feud over. Anytime a celebrity or somebody comes into WWE, they put him with the Miz. The Miz has name recognition. Like, he does it all, and I think his wrestling also is underrated because he's gotten better over the years. I think he's, y'all know I'm a Miz Mark, so I 100% agree that he is a GOAT. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He has done it all. Like we just talked about, that crossover mainstream. WWE's bigger than wrestling. And the Miz
He's
is
one of the
bigger
originators
than
of the crossover, where with MTV, whether it's Real World, whether it's a challenge, whether it's doing hosting stuff with MTV, whether it's Miz and Mrs. Like, he's one of the originators of, like, you're going to see me in and outside WWE.
I feel like for me,
Marines 2, 3, 4 through whatever. Yeah. That's it.
4 through 50-11. I feel like for me, though, maybe his recent, like one of his, the pick me character is what bothered me the most. What about me? What about me? But what I will say, I will credit the Miz for bringing the Shield back together. That's all I'm saying. He gets that from me. That's it.
For sure. All right. Well, Seindole's like, okay.
I disagree with all of you, but it's fine. We're allowed to agree to disagree.
Wrestling hills that people are willing to die on.
Y'all gotta bring these hills next week.
Yo, we have a lot, so I'm loving the engagement.
I got a lot more. I have a whole iPad
segment. I think we're gonna make this a segment on the fan club show.
I'm gonna say I'll continue this tomorrow on Sound if you like.
Everybody, and I also found 2 old tweets that we put up that has like 200 replies, 195 quote tweets. So we have a lot of hills that we can debate on this, and then also everyone has to come to the club with a wrestling hill that they're willing to die on.
So you should just make a pinned tweet, like, what's a wrestling hill you're willing to die on? I guarantee you it will blow up. Because it would blow up.
Yeah, it would totally blow up. And again, this is why we love the fan club, why we started doing a fan club, weekly wrestling fan club. We get together and we talk shit about wrestling. We talk about all the recent shit in the news. We talk about pay-per-view matches and upcoming shows and everything that really is notable in the week. And I want to thank everybody that joined us this week, especially changing days. It's, you know, it's not that easy to, you know, do a weekly show, and we've been able to do that. And you guys have been rocking with us, whether it's on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. So I really want to appreciate you guys. I want to also thank all of our like weekly fan club members: Vaughn, Andre, Black, Dylan, of course, Vaughn, Rakarsha. We love y'all so much.
Salute to all y'all.
Yeah, salute to all of y'all. The comments were popping this week. Of course, we got to thank KRISTA B. It's always a pleasure when you're on. We love having you on. And
I love being on.
You guys said you have sound off tomorrow?
Sound off is tomorrow at 3 p.m. with myself and CRISPA CONTRERAS. I low-key want to finish this hill to die on segment, but I'm gonna keep it for you guys. I'll probably ask her what's her hill that she would die on, but I would definitely make sure that they tune into fan club next week so you guys can finish this conversation, because there are so many hills that I would die on. I have so many hills that I would die on. Like, I'm dying on the hill that The Miz was the part of bringing the Shield back.
Girl,
Seindole, they jumped them individually. They jumped them individually. That last part where they all come into the locker room, and then the next Monday when he talk about the rumors, and Roman is like, rumors? Who said anything about rumors? And then their music hit. So yes, the Miz, Sheamus, and Cesaro were a part of bringing the Shield back. And that
sound off is tomorrow. I don't want to hear this right now.
I
love you.
I'm gonna purposely put up a card where I'm gonna say KRISTA B sounds off on Seindole.
That's fine.
It's gonna be that.
Take it. I'll take it, because
what we not going to do
tomorrow.
We're not going to. Okay.
It's all love.
Row seat to that.
Tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Yep. So yeah, we're definitely gonna make this a weekly segment for sure. Because I already see some that in the comments that we didn't even get a chance to get to. Dylan, I promise you we're gonna start with this one next week, because this is one of Brian's favorite matches. So we'll start with that one.
We'll note that, yeah.
Dylan, just tweet that one, and then we can get into it.
I'm gonna watch that match tonight. As soon as we come off here and I eat, I'm gonna watch that.
With the sound,
watch it too.
A lot of people were talking about it, especially today too. A lot of people were at the career that I was at talking about this Hogan Rock match, and I'm just like, wow. So yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it again and like take the bias out of it. I'm gonna need alcohol. Okay, got it.
I can't go. Can you live tweet your reactions, please?
Please.
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna live tweet it from my account, and I'm gonna add those wrestling girls. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Because that
I can't wait for that.
That's funny. So
please drink responsibly.
I'm in the house. I do whatever I want.
KRISTA don't drink responsibly. We just gotta get wasted with this one.
You guys.
Way to throw her under the bus. God damn.
She's home.
I'm home. I just said I'm home. I'm
responsibly in her own house.
Stuff, you know.
Child.
I'm gonna be home. Also, oh no, this could be after.
No, go ahead.
No. It's literally for something after. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
On that note.
On that note, where can everybody find y'all?
Who goes first? I don't know y'all order.
The guest.
The guest.
Oh,
you the guest.
That's me. Okay. I don't always do the okay. Anyway, and Seindole definitely called me out at my birthday dinner last week about how I do my outros.
Yo, let me tell you something. Her friends, I love her friends to death, by the way. Shout out to them if they're watching. But her friends even know how she always
how
dramatic she is. So when I was doing it, they was like, we know she was doing that. So I was just like, yeah,
so she definitely.
And then she was like, no, you didn't do it right. I did it like this. And then she started doing it again. And I said,
wait, I did the whole promo.
You did the whole, she did the whole promo.
The whole promo from the video Colton clip. I did it on.
I love it.
You don't remember that? Nice. It's like, how many drinks did I have? Really? Okay. But yes, you can definitely find me on Instagram, on Twitter And on Facebook, your Instagram, you can follow me at ms_KRISTA_B_ MSKRISTAB_. On Twitter, ms_KRISTAB. You can follow me on those wrestling girls. Of course, I'm one half of those wrestling girls, and I tweet from there. I tweet from there sometime, but that's all P's doing. So whenever you see the KB, yes, that's
the kayfabe.
Right. Make sure you follow us in the discussion groups because I definitely post a lot of cool and fun things in our discussion group. Happy 316 Day. I definitely post that. Say it again.
TikTok. Stitch the TikTok.
Yes. Please stitch our latest TikTok. Brian, shout out to you for making my 2K23 cover. I need one of me and Bakey for tomorrow. Thank you very much. Yes, we want to see your TikTok cover. We want to see your 2K23 covers and your ratings. My overall rating is an 88. I don't agree with that, but I'll keep it because other people were not even on the list. And yes, you can follow me on all social media platforms if there's that.
Damn. So speaking of lists, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at It's Justin Rich. You can find me here Wednesday nights, Thursday nights, Tuesday night. You know what? We'll just pop up on Twitch for Those Wrestling Girls Fan Club from 7 to 9 with these 4 beautiful, amazing co-hosts. I'm including KRISTA because KRISTA will be popping in from time to time as well. You can catch me from time to time. Speaking of that, for Turnbuckle Talk with me and Corey, Tuesday nights, 6:35, where we talk all things wrestling on the Twitter Spaces. You can find me from time to time on True Heel Heat Sports and True Heel Heat Wrestling. Both those channels located on YouTube. We here, we outside, we active. It's just wrestling, y'all. Enjoy.
You catch me as Brian H. Waters everywhere. Every Wednesday is Wrestling Wednesdays. And the beginning of the day, catch me on Wednesday Worldwide on the Ringers Wrestling Network. And then catch me right here on the Fan Club at 7 and then 10:30 on the Wrestling Realm. And tomorrow on Breaking Through Glass Ceilings, a friend of the program of all programs, the one, the only Miss Stephanie Hardy will be on there. So make sure y'all check out.
Love her.
Make sure y'all check out that episode.
And last but not least, it is your honorary wrestling girl, Miss Seindole B. You can catch me on Instagram at reload.relive, like my latest posts and my latest reels. You can also catch me on Twitter at reload via film. You can also catch the Well Minority on both Instagram and Twitter. Podcast dropping very, 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 very soon, with the first episode just starring me, because we're going to get into it. We're going to get into the nitty gritty. We're going to get into everything that's around mental health and us ladies for Women's History Month. You can also catch me next Monday on All Elite with Keeks as a guest. And the only thing I have to tell you is it doesn't matter whether you're spending money on SummerSlam, whether you're going to buy that plane ticket to see Bonito at Backlash, or whether you're going to party with me and Drake and Beyonce. Money comes and goes, but those memories you about to build this summer, they will be that, just memories to live on forever. So don't be afraid to blow that money. Get those memories started.
Oh, I love that.
That was the worst. Seindole been preaching. If this was Thursday, I would talk to that. We've been preaching all day. Like, come on.
It really has been.
I'm trying to get the good word out.
It's the God in you.
It is. Yeah. You called it. It is.
I love how you said that, KRISTA.
It is. She know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Okay.
Facts. Oh, so KRISTA B reminded me that we have a Spaces this Sunday.
Yes.
We are going to discuss the Lita and Trish rivalries, A&E, and the Page.
And talking to those spaces, because the China one was great.
Even
though I couldn't talk because I was doing God's work, but the China one was great.
It really was. So I'm excited because we got a double header on Sunday. So it's a lot of women. Yeah, we got a lot of women content for A&E. What is it? WWE on A&E Sunday. So definitely make sure you follow us on Twitter at T Wrestling Girls, and also tweet us. Go on Instagram. Give us your Wrestling Hills to Die On. We'll definitely talk about it on the show. Hashtag TWG Fan Club. We're back on Wednesday next week. 7 p.m. with me and the crew, and hopefully KRISTA B.
So it's the last one before Mania, so we definitely
it's the last one before Mania, and then we're gonna figure out.
Are we colliding?
Do fan club for the week of Mania, because I will be just touching down. I think next one, Wednesday of that week.
There Wednesday.
So
I say we collide again.
Well, I think we should do a Mania preview show at some point.
Sound Off and Fan Club collide next Wednesday.
Yeah, and we
I
just
feel like we should.
all WrestleMania preview, WrestleMania. Yeah, I think that'd be dope. We could talk our favorite Mania moments, our favorite Mania matches. I'll think of some assignments for that Mania show.
Listen, I already
Can
graduated.
we not use that word, please?
No, time
I already
out.
have enough assignments.
Oh, my bad, Justin. My bad.
I have enough assignments as is. That word is triggering at the moment.
You have enough assignments. I graduated high school and I have 2 college degrees.
I just want to come prepared with your favorite Mania matches, so maybe we could get some graphics done. You know,
so how about the word task? Does task work?
Bingo.
Task is better.
It's not the same.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, but we talking about mental health and not triggering people, and Justin is triggered. We got to respect it.
Yeah,
no, I'm
change the word.
Task also sounds like, you know, the same shit to me.
All right, we'll figure it out. We're
gonna work it out that we don't trigger him.
Episode for a Mania preview that week. We'll figure out what day and time, but we are going to be back next Wednesday for Fan Club with the crew. New segment, which I'm excited about, and like Krista B said, it's the last
one. So maybe a collision is going to happen. Maybe we'll have a collision. I'm gonna hit a CRISTINA to see, but maybe we'll have a collision. Thanks for that, Seindole.
We shall see. We shall see. Make sure you follow us on Patreon. I'm working on a very, very special project that I'm really hoping I can get done before Mania.
So I don't even know about it.
Make sure you subscribe on. It's only $1 a month, so make sure you do that. Make sure you check out our merch, our new collaboration with For Your Wear in honor of Women's History Month. You can choose your women's wrestling Mount Rushmore and get a custom shirt just in time for Mania. Well, maybe not just in time for Mania, but make sure you cop it for the before the month of March. And hopefully more merch is going to be coming soon. We'll catch you on Spaces on Sunday. We're still working on our Carmella spotlight, which hopefully should be out soon.
Nice.
And I think that's all the updates that I have to remind you all. And again, I just want to thank everybody for joining us on Fan Club. This is like literally my favorite week. I love working with you guys. Yeah, I think the club is closed.
Yeah. Thank you for hanging out with the bestest friends that anybody can have.
Yes.